Welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic. Consider safe. Great job, 49ers.
The 5 best players ever in the NBA, Kobe Bryant is not one of them.
Robert, you can't say anywhere that he doesn't belong in the league. Give me that amount of money, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. Josh Allen will never make the playoffs again.
The SEC is straight trash.
This fool was a crumb up.
Oh, he was in one of those vests?
Yeah.
Clink. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic, episode 125. We are live and direct on this rainy day in Southern California. How's everyone doing out there? Guys, please participate. Talk your shit. How's everyone doing? Let's go through our introductions. In the center, we have Eddie Money, executive producer with the Corona hat on, man. How's it going?
Sir, feeling good, feeling great, feeling cozy.
Oh, man, I know, right? Don't you just love this weather?
Can't when that rain smell hits the ground and hits the street when you go outside.
Yeah, and the cars be slamming into each other.
Yeah, people just forget to drive, unfortunately.
We got Rafa. Rafa, microphone man. Unmute.
My fault. I was on a phone call.
Okay. Is
My
it
bad.
golf related? Golf related?
I had one golf-related phone call. That's not the one I answered, though. I answered an important phone call, made a golf phone call, and then got another important phone call, so I had to hang up on the golf phone call. So I'm making it work, baby.
Well, I don't know. You just twice in one sentence said golf wasn't important in a sentence. That right there is confusing to me.
Well, it is.
But we do have Rafa the Guru in the house. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to stay cool.
Yeah, I hear you. It's it doesn't take much for Southern Californians to just lose their shit in the rain out here. But guys, we are live. Thank you for joining us. We're live on Instagram, YouTube. Please participate. Don't hate, or hate and participate. Whatever you want to do, it's all good with us. But Two Nobodies with the Mic, episode 125. If you haven't watched the show yet, there's only one rule that we have, and that is not to be a loser, because we are the gambling show of record, and we gamble. We're going to talk about gambling. We're going to give some lines. We're going to give some hot takes, and agree, don't agree, doesn't matter, man. Just share your opinion. That being said, I got some shout outs. Hopefully you guys have some shout outs. I want to give a big shout out to St. John Bosco Wrestling. High school state championships in California were this past weekend. And although they might view this as underachieving, they were ranked number 1 in the state for a little bit, but they broke a record. And if you guys don't know, there's 14 weight classes in high school wrestling, and they had 13 state placers. And it's an incredible accomplishment. My older son, Hakatomi Plaza, helps and coaches that group of great young men. And the crazy thing is that the one weight that they didn't place at was the heavyweight, which their heavyweight for the last 4 years has been incredible and was the number 1 ranked kid in the state and one of the best kids in the country, but he got hurt. And the backup made it to state and gave it a run. Great young man. So big shout out to St. John Bosco and the wrestling team. Amazing accomplishment. 13 state placers. And just wanted to give them a little shout out. Also, this week for my son, who wrestles for University of North Carolina Tar Heels, ACC championships in what's the arena called, Rafa?
Duke. Cameron Indoor.
Cameron Indoor. I get to go there, watch the ACC championships. Good luck to all those young men. It's postseason time, man. Madness. It's not March Madness, Madness, and hopefully all 10 guys make it to the big show. And those are my shout outs. You guys have any shout outs you want to give out to anybody?
I want to give a shout out to Vegas for setting the lines on the SEC conference basketball games so low on the totals. Thank you, Vegas, for giving away free money there. Thank you.
It's crazy, man.
You've done a great job. You've done a great job not realizing that every team in that fucking conference scores 80 points a night. So
yeah, even with like the second best defensive team,
doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. Fucking Kentucky put up 96 last night.
Is this a direct correlation, Rafa, of the money that SEC football makes? Is it trickling down, as they say, the trickle down economics to the SEC basketball?
SEC basketball has been rising for the last handful of years. Alabama, the last handful of years have been phenomenal. Kentucky's always good.
Yeah.
But this year you have other teams. You have Missouri and
Auburn, Tennessee.
Auburn for sure. Tennessee's always there. Auburn's been there the last handful of years.
Yeah.
Florida has been phenomenal this year.
Florida always.
By the way, total on Florida, Alabama tonight, 176.5.
Wow. Damn.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
crazy,
They got a ton of points up already. I think they I don't know. They're like at 60 something already with like I believe it's 60 something with like 4 minutes left in the first half.
Big upset last night. Texas A&M beating Auburn.
Number 1
right?
Auburn.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it shows how good and tough that conference is. Eddie Money, any shout outs, man?
Shout
Or we're gonna
out
wait.
for the people that helped me study for my midterm. I got above the class average. That's all that matters.
There you go. way to set the standard
Above
low.
the class average is all that matters. Fucking the class average 32%. Eddie Money had 33.9%. You
Dude,
fucking turd.
That
Above
sounds
the class average?
That's all I need.
Dude, I used to use that shit at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. No one passed. Everyone got. I used to use that shit all the time.
Everyone got a D, Mom.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
Says
because
Jay.
I will say the class average is skewed because we always get like a big curve on all of the engineering exams. So
Sounds like we're gonna have some
very thankful.
fucked up. Sounds like we're gonna have some fucked
Yeah.
up engineers here coming up
Yeah.
real soon, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't trust me with
Jesus.
your
Yeah,
bridges.
no, 100% trust. No, zero trust. We got it.
That's freaking crazy, man. But
Unfucking believable.
good for you, Eddie Money, and your higher learning. But guys, we are the Gambling Show of Record. We're gonna talk some shit today. But every week we do something called You're Fired. You could also hire people. And if you have any suggestions out there, anyone out there in YouTube or Instagram want to fire somebody, now is your chance. You can fire us. I don't give a shit.
Oh,
Who wants to start off?
Thank you. I'm okay. There's my support right there.
Wow, Will. Yes.
I graduated with engineering degree. I can vouch for it. Thank you.
Will, I have your shipment. I'm going tomorrow. Gonna ship that out tomorrow, Papa. Thank you so much. I'm gonna hook you up, Will, and thank you for being a contributor, and thank you for what did he nickname CJ?
Skin tone.
Skin tone. Yes, that will always be a great thing, Will.
This is facts, right? He said class average was normally at 43% before the Asians messed it up.
Are you, Will? Please tell me. Please tell me that's not a real thing.
Oh, that's 100% a real thing. If you get like a 50% on an engineering exam, it's like, damn, I did pretty good.
What the hell? You guys ever have that app on your phone where you could build bridges and you drive cars and you can construct them? That is that what are you really good at that game, Will or Eddie Money? Because my shit always falls no matter what.
No, that's a real thing, man. This shit's hard.
Oh well,
I had several classes
43%.
where a C minus was a 50% or up, and half the class still fails.
That's
Wow.
insane. That's insane. No wonder China's kicking our ass.
Professors League don't give a crap. It's sink or swim. That's true. It's true.
All right, Will.
I wouldn't say I'm swimming, but I'm paddling.
Is there any bridges? Will, I know you went to Iowa State. I know you're a Cyclone, but is there any bridges? Is there any bridges in Iowa? It's a flat land, right?
He said don't step on any of them he designed, so.
That's pretty freaking cool, man. But Will,
Tapia got on Instagram saying, "What's up, man?"
What up, B-Tap? How you doing, man? How do you like that Raider signing?
Fuck the Raiders. Let's get on with your fired. I'm gonna fire the Raiders since fucking we're on the Raiders. The fucking Raiders, dude. The Raiders suck dick. But hey, good job signing Max Crosby. I'm gonna hire the Raiders for doing that, and I'm gonna fire them because they're still gonna suck next year, and the year after, and the year after that. So
Honestly, I'm also firing the Raiders. We signed Alex Kappa, and someone said he has the O-line Triple Crown winner, first in sacks allowed, first in pressures allowed, and first in hurries allowed. He's the worst amongst all guards, and we signed him.
Yeah, and gave him like $11 million over 2 years. Like, what the fruit?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah, what's going on there? He must have some, I don't know, whatever. Both valid points.
Shout out his agent.
Yeah, both valid points. But Max didn't have any more guaranteed money. And you had to keep that dude. And last year I said something crazy. And I still believe it will be true when it's all said and done, Rafa. When it's all said and done, I believe that Max Crosby will be at the top of the list of best Raider of all time.
Dude, I cannot stand with that fucking comment, Eddie. Are you fucking kidding me? Is your franchise that fucking lonely? That fucking
it has been.
Dude,
it has been.
Come on.
It has
on.
been, Rafa. I mean, think
That's
about
fine. So what? So the team's ass, and now we're just gonna put a guy who, all right, because he's our best player for the last fucking 2 decades. We're just gonna make him an all-time Raider.
it.
He's
It's
zero
Yeah,
accomplishments.
can't do that.
Like,
I'm sorry.
like
He's got to win a
zero.
ring.
He's got win a ring, win a defensive player of the year at least.
I mean, it's not about just his play, Rafa. It's about the standard that he brings to the locker room. It's about the culture that he brings to the team. The fact that he wants to be a Raider. The fact that he wants to be a Raider when he's dealt with,
I want to be a Raider. I want to be a Raider. I want to be any fucking professional athlete.
No, but no, it means a lot because every team in the NFL wants a Max Crosby. And he could easily say, you know what? He could do what Myles Garrett did. How easily would it be for him to come out like Myles Garrett and say, I'm tired of this bullshit. I am tired. I want to go to a contender. From Texas, he can go to the Cowboys. He's played school at Michigan. They would kill to have him with the Lions. Any team would kill. And yet he has been loyal to the Raiders and the fans. And you got to put that all into the equation of him.
Yes, but
obviously,
he has zero accomplishments, like not one, for the team, for himself, like Pro Bowls.
He's a defensive end, Rafa. What do you want him to do?
So who's the greatest Raider of all time?
That's the thing. It's. I mean,
give me one.
God,
because that's how bad the franchise is.
People will say Charles Woodson. People will say
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah. You can't do that because he left.
Another guy who accomplished nothing as a Raider.
No, that's not true.
That's fine.
That's not true.
They got to the Super Bowl. He accomplished as much as Rich Gannon.
You can't say Art Shell. You could say Jim Plunkett.
John Madden.
Well, okay. That you know what, John Madden. That's a great one. Actually, I've never heard anyone say that. John Madden should be the greatest Raider of all time.
He should.
That makes sense. Yeah,
but Crosby shouldn't even be on the list. I mean, John Madden, Howie Long, Plunkett.
Look at that hat. That's a badass hat right there.
Like, there's plenty of other guys that contributed things, and Max Crosby, to me, he should not be on the list. He's a phenomenal player. There's no doubt about it. But
well, listen, I agree with you. He's not there yet. I'm saying that if he does get us in the playoffs and gets us on
the standard. That's the standard for the Raiders. Woo! You could be one of our all-time greats. You just got to get us to the playoffs.
Oh man, I know it's tough. I know it's tough. You know what? Yeah, it's really fucking hard. It's hard. So
Marcus Allen. I mean, fuck Tim Brown. I know you don't like Tim Brown.
I love Marcus Allen though, but again, left to the enemy and not his fault. But anyone else? You're hired. You're fired. I have a couple. I want to fire Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd. As everyone knows, Kyrie Irving tore his ACL a couple nights ago. I'm devastated imagine being a Dallas Maverick fan. Imagine being a Dallas fan in general. That's a really tough deal. But when I heard that Kyrie Irving has played the most minutes of any player in the NBA up to this point, up until he got hurt, and I know Luka was hurt for a lot of the beginning of the season, but he's 32 years old, and you got to be a little more careful with that, Papa. And I know whatever the reason they traded Luka, I mean, obviously Laker fans came up on that side, but you got to be a little more careful with your stars, with your 32-year-old stars. And for Kidd and Nico Harrison to play Kyrie Irving that many minutes, to me seems a little bit just irresponsible. Any thoughts on that, Rafa?
I kind of disagree with you on that. because the NBA players get so much shit for sitting out, and Kyrie missed games. So for him to play a ton of minutes, it's shocking to me that you say that. I would have thought
Crazy. That's why I was shocked when I heard it.
I would have thought someone else. I would have thought, maybe Tatum, who hasn't missed too many games, or one of those guys. But Ant, I don't think he's missed many. But for me, everyone complains about these guys not playing, right? They take nights off, they this, that. So you got to play the guys. Torn ACLs, they happen. And with Kyrie's, with his speed, his quickness, his bounce to the basket, you've seen it. It's bound to happen. I mean, he's not Derrick Rose either. His bounce wasn't that. Yeah. But, it happens, and it's a tough break for the Mavs. It's brutal. You traded for AD. He gets hurt the first game. He had a phenomenal first half in that game. Crazy. And then he gets hurt. And then now you're more than likely probably going to miss these playoffs because you got nothing out there.
Before I hire someone, let me ask you this, Rafa. Do you just go ahead and sit AD? I don't know. They're probably nowhere near the tanking, number one pick. But why even put AD out there at that point?
Well, you can't. When AD is healthy, he's got to play because AD is a player that a lot of people in the league can consider, and people I consider as well, as one of the better players in the league. So when he's out there to play, you can run your team through him or all of it. He can actually carry a team, not to a finals, but he can carry the team to the playoffs. And I think they're sitting in a playoff spot right now. So you can't, if he's healthy and ready to go, you can't just give up a playoff spot, which they did 2 years ago when they had Kyrie and Luka.
Yeah.
And the first year Kyrie was there, and they sat them like one of the last two games or some shit, which was stupid. And but so I wouldn't.
You get what I'm saying, though, right? I mean,
I understand what you're saying, but you cannot, if he's ready to play, and who knows when that will be, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a week, whatever, because there's not much season left anyways. I think there's 3 weeks left in the NBA season, I believe. So if he's ready to come back and play and you're in a playoff spot or a game out of one, and I believe they're in one, and if any money wants to pull up the standings.
Yeah, I think they are.
If he's ready to play, you can't just give up a playoff spot because the point is to get to the playoffs, and then from there you see what happens, right? And who knows, maybe you get, because in a series, and listen, as good as SGA is, and as good as people think the Thunder are, or whatever they showed you last year, that SGA is phenomenal. I don't think he's good enough to carry a team all the way to the finals. As good as he, at least not in the West. And actually, when you look at the East, it's probably not in the East either. So if you're
the 10th seed,
the 10th seed, so they're in a play-in spot right now. So we'll see. And they're hanging by a thread because they're gonna fade real quick in the next probably by the end of the week. They're probably out of that spot.
They're 3 games ahead of the 11 seed Suns.
Okay, well,
the Suns are falling off the cliff as well.
Last night's game, though, KD went on a run. They went into that fourth quarter. I was watching that game. They went into the fourth quarter, and they opened that fourth quarter on a 15-2 run. Coach Bud and KD had a fucking little exchange there where Bud went to grab KD because he was talking to him. KD kind of, shoved his arm off because he was walking away, and they came back and won that game. And they were down in that game, 15-17, might have been down 20 at one point. I think they were down 20 at one point in the second half. Came back and won that game. That could be a momentum changer for that team. You have KD and Booker, and they need to realize, like, Beal's got to be the guy that comes off the bench. They got to figure that out. Like, listen, you could come off the bench and maybe run the second unit for a little bit so KD can rest and then maybe get Booker back in there, whatever. Yeah. But I think the Suns will figure it out. I think the Suns get in that Dallas spot, and then Dallas won't have an issue on debating whether to bring fucking AD back or not. But
for sure,
I still like when you have a player as good as KD and as good as Devin Booker, and you have a coach that has won a championship. Anything can happen, and they need a good week or week and a half. And that win last night was huge for them. And Dallas is going to fade. Dallas playing. They're playing. I think they play Milwaukee tonight, and I think it's in Milwaukee. Milwaukee played last night, but still, I don't see Dallas even winning that game tonight, or even keeping it close. But
Before I get into my hiring, can I ask you this? And I meant to bring this up last week. How come the Clippers don't get a ton of shit for making that SGA trade? Like, no one even talks about it.
because when they made that trade, SGA wasn't. They made a trade ready to win, right? They thought they were ready to go and bring in Paul George, and we have a team that's built to win now. SGA wasn't part of that winning now, so that's
okay. Kobe Bryant wasn't Kobe Bryant till maybe his third year.
Yeah, but that was a draft. Yeah, that was at the draft. It was different. Also, that's
what I'm saying is, imagine trading Kobe, because SGA was there for 2 years.
The Hornets traded Kobe before.
But I'm talking about, imagine the Lakers trading Kobe in his second or third year. Isn't that comparable?
The Lakers almost traded Kobe in his prime when Kobe asked for a trade.
Well,
the Bulls didn't want to give up Luol Deng like fucking dumbasses.
But that was a different. Kobe wanted out. The Lakers didn't want to trade him. I'm saying this is something that's not talked about. SGA was, the Clippers drafted him. This guy right now is a MVP, and no one gives the Clippers any shit for trading away an MVP.
Because they traded him for Paul George. They traded him for, at the time, what you could have argued was the best two-way guard in the league. That was the thing. He played defense and he could score the basketball. So that's who you traded SGA for. That was the only way you were going to get Paul George. So it's like, if you called the Celtics now and you traded for Tatum, right? What are you giving Tatum? You're giving a guy who's, it's like if the Magic said, oh, well, we'll give you Paolo. And then Paolo goes off, and in the next 2 years, he's averaging fucking 30 a game. Yeah, but you got Tatum. At that time, you got Paul George. Paul George was a phenomenal player at that time. SGA is better and will probably end up, at the pace he's going, end up being a better all-time player than Paul George. Fine. But at that moment, we didn't know SGA was going to be this good. I mean, dude, the kid's put up phenomenal fucking numbers.
Yeah, he's freaking amazing.
He's phenomenal. He reminds me a lot of Kyrie, by the way, with a better understanding of passing the ball. But he reminds me a lot of Kyrie.
All right, I just needed an explanation, and you gave me one, because you'd never hear anyone give shit to the Clippers about, hey, you had SGA, you had an MVP. So that was a good explanation. Before I get into my hiring, or let's get into my hiring. Okay. I want to hire JJ Redick. He has this team playing defense. And to me, that is a sign of a great basketball coach, is getting a team to play defense. And it's getting this team. I mean, if you see Luka, he has steals. I mean, Luka's never going to be on the all defensive team. He's just too slow, but his effort is there. He has these guys buying in. And if you look for the last 11, 12 games, they're almost at number one at every defensive stat. And that is a sign of a great coach. And to think that he was the number 2 option to who I wanted, the coach from UConn, the brother Hurley. I thought that was a slam dunk. And I thought JJ was just going to be another puppet for LeBron, and he hasn't been that. And LeBron, who I'm also going to hire,
apology accepted. Apology accepted. Go ahead.
I'm also hiring LeBron James, man. He is, 40 years old, 22 years in the league, hits 50,000 points. I don't think we'll ever see. No one's going to touch that record. But he's reinvented himself. He has reinvented himself as a basketball player in 11 games or 15 games. And it's exciting to watch. I can't wait for Laker games now to see what's going to happen. So I'm hiring JJ Redick. I'm hiring LeBron James. And I'm really excited to watch NBA basketball, which if you would have told me, I just totally ripped NBA basketball for a month and a half, saying it was unwatchable. Now I can't wait, man. So those are my hirings.
Listen, I accept your apology because y'all was hating when JJ came out. Listen, everyone said, and all of you in our group chat, you know who you are, talking shit. LeBron, is he LeBron's boy and blah, blah, blah. JJ Redick, when you watch him on those podcasts with LeBron, okay, when you watched and you listen to them talk about basketball, it is shit that goes above and beyond what people who watch basketball casually would even understand. And even then, like, you watch them, you would listen to them, and it's like this, that a certain defense is on inbounds and this, all sorts of shit. And when you listen to him call games on ESPN, it reminded me a ton of when you'd listen to Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown, and he'd give you that coach's, analysis of a play or a breakdown, coming out of the huddle, out of a timeout, all of that. It reminded me of Hubie Brown, and he's proven it now. Yes, he has LeBron, he has Luka, but he's, like Eddie said, they're playing fucking defense. And, Rich is going to say, well, they played the Pelicans, who had 17 wins last night. But still, you still have to play defense.
No, it's true. I think they have.
Go
ahead.
Since January 15th, the Lakers are first in defensive rating, first in opponent points allowed, first in opponent field goals percentage, fifth in opponent 3-point field goal percentage, and first in opponent points in the paint.
It's, man, those are. I mean, even people don't think of Golden State Warriors as being a defensive team, but the Warriors were 100% a great defensive team.
Phenomenal.
You cannot win championships and be a bad defensive team. That's just a fact in the NBA.
Defense wins championships.
And it's the hardest thing to do to get these millionaires to get motivated. It's one thing to be on offense. Everyone wants the highlights, but to really, the effort, to put the effort in playing defense, man, that is the real, key ingredient to winning a championship. So that's your fired. And anyone else, Will, you don't want to hire or fire anyone? Any engineering professors at Iowa State or anything? But this is my next question, Rafa. And I know you're going to dig into this with your talons. Okay. My next question to you is this, because this is something that hasn't even entered my psyche. And this is probably the most debatable thing on the planet. It's Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. It's LeBron James, Michael Jordan, GOAT. And this is something that I thought wasn't a question. I'm still a Jordan guy, GOAT guy. And everyone knows Rafa, his stance with LeBron. But I did not see LeBron James ever winning an NBA championship again. It was unfathomable to me with the team that was created. Even when we traded for Luka, I was thinking this is a move to move on. This is the next passing of the torch of the next star. But after watching this team play and seeing what I'm seeing, I'm thinking, oh shit. What if LeBron James wins another NBA title at 40 years old? But throw the 40 years old out. The impact of what he has. He's averaging numbers that he averaged in 2008. I think this might change the narrative if he was able to do this, Rafa.
Well, for me, it'll never change the narrative.
Rafa's smirking before he even got a word out.
Because for me, it'll never change the narrative. And you know what I love? I love that all these people that think they saw LeBron like Jay, who's our meme creator.
Yes.
Who swears that, listen, when you start watching LeBron James nightly, you will appreciate his greatness. Bottom line, you will appreciate it. It's just that. Now, I'll tell you something. To me, LeBron's still the best player ever. But if they win the title and Luka wins the Finals MVP, that for me is like, I don't know. It's,
You know what?
I gotta put this out for the public. So last night we put it in the group chat that about LeBron winning a title or Luka winning a title, and I was like, yeah, it'd be like I can't imagine Mavs fans when Luka holds up a Finals MVP.
Oh,
And
shit.
Rafa is already pre-glazing a LeBron Finals MVP. He goes, "We're gonna act like LeBron's not on the team."
Yeah, bro. Because listen, when you watch, and you can watch last night, right? You watched last night. Luka has 17 in the first quarter, and he's whatever he was in the first quarter. I think it was 3 of 5 from 3 or whatever. At the end of the night, he had 17 in the first quarter. At the end of the night, did you see the numbers at the end of the night? At the end,
insane.
At the end of the night, when it's all said every night, so in a 7-game series, when that series is done, and if the Lakers win the title, the Finals MVP will be LeBron James because his numbers will read something along the lines of 27, 9 and 9, 27, 10 and 8. Those are going to be his numbers. That's just what it's going to be. And Luka's obviously going to, but Luka will not carry. He will not be, he will not, a team with LeBron James on it, this team right here, right now, this is still LeBron James' team. People want to believe, you can believe whatever you want. That this team on a nightly basis, Luka has not outplayed LeBron once, maybe once since he's been on this team. And that was on the points total. He's maybe outscored him a couple times. But when you watch it, it's still LeBron's team. It just is.
I don't give a shit. If the Lakers win, give them the fact that you've even thought ahead that much to like, if they do this, I don't care.
100%.
Because to me, I mean, I'm seeing LeBron not bring up the ball, go to the wing. But LeBron, and I see what you're saying, Rafa, he's still pointing out, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, he doesn't have the ball, but he's still running the goddamn show.
Because he's that good. And when you listen to these guys, and I know Jeff Teague and DeMar DeRozan, like those aren't guys that people are, that's not this guy and that guy. Dude, Jeff Teague will tell you, like, oh, we were up 15 at halftime, or we're up 15 in the third quarter in the playoffs. And we're like, this shit is over. LeBron goes to a 6-0 run. Like, this shit's over. We lost. DeMar DeRozan, the same thing. Like, they tell you those things. When you listen to Giannis talk, it's like, dude, this guy's that good because he understands the game. Cam Johnson, who's in Brooklyn now, he was in Phoenix. He was a rookie. He came out. He said they brought him in the game. It's the first time he played against LeBron. He said they came out, put me in the game. They ran a play for him, and he was in shock. He's like, oh, they're running a play for me. And LeBron calls out the play, and he started thinking, he goes, oh, fuck. He knows the ball's coming to me? Like, oh, shit. And sure enough, he gets the ball, ends up having to pass the ball, doesn't get the shot up. Like, it's LeBron is that good, and people don't understand it. And it's a shame. And now Jay's realizing it because he's watching Luka, and he's like, oh, no, LeBron's on some shit this year. Yeah, year 22.
Yeah.
You're starting to realize you're forgetting about 2016 LeBron, 2018 LeBron, 2012, 13, 14. Like, there's many LeBrons that have been great.
But it's almost
She
like
just said ATL, Rotel, Mama Shell, Lakers of 5.
That's pretty good, CJ. Or should I say skin tone? You got to change your
change your
skin
handle.
tone, man. Come on, man.
Change your handle.
But
I feel like Shannon Sharp and I are the only ones dying on the LeBron fucking GOAT mount.
I said this in a group chat. I had this debate at work on Friday about it with LeBron and Jordan. And some guy he couldn't get the concept. I was like, this man has been doing it since I came out the womb. And I'm serving you drinks now, and he's still doing it.
The thing that's impressive to me is in year 22, he's become a better shooter from the 3-point line. Like, he's getting better at certain aspects. It's mind blowing.
he had to because he still has amazing strength and power to get down, in the pain and all that. But you had to adjust your game, as Kobe adjusted his game when he tore his Achilles. Yeah, he had to adjust his game a little bit. So guys adjust their game. He has to adjust their game, and he's been shooting phenomenal. I think he shot 50% from 3 last night. I think he was like 5 of 10 or something.
He's been, I know a couple nights ago, he's been shooting 44% since Luka got there. I think it's just, that's ridiculous. But speaking of Kobe and torn ACL, it reminds me of this.
Sorry. CJ officially changed his name.
Two Nobodies Skin Tone.
There you go. Yes. All thanks to Will Hanley, the engineer. But Kyrie Irving is up for, I think he has a player option next year. I don't want to say you ran him into the ground. He had to play, but he's 32 years old. If you're Dallas, what do you do? How does that contract work?
You give him all the money.
Is he upset? Is he going to be like, we made it to the finals last year, Papa. We made it to the finals last year, and you traded our best player. You don't think Kyrie Irving has some kind of animosity towards Nico Harrison? Like, and that ownership? You think he's going to give him the big FU? Or he's like, I need to take as much money as I can, and I'll sit here and even though you guys, kind of screwed this team up, I'll stay. What do you think is going to happen with Kyrie?
Because if you're looking at it, and I'm looking at basketball only, right, on the court, when you're a small guy like Kyrie, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", whatever he is, point guard, ball handler, your best teammate is a big. It's not another guy who's going to hold the ball and then find you with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, which is a lot that went on with Luka.
Yeah.
And so for me, if I'm Kyrie, I'm like, fuck, you traded Luka because you basically thought I'm the team. You basically promoted me to this is my team by trading Luka, right? You didn't bring in AD to be the face of the franchise. Kyrie, I think, is the guy, and you gave him a big who's one of the best bigs in the league, one of the 3 or 4 best bigs in the league when healthy, obviously.
For sure.
So if I'm Kyrie, I'm like, yeah, AD's going to be here. I'm here. We get another guy, not an old Klay Thompson, even though he'll still be there, but another guy. I'm not talking about another superstar, but just another guy who can score the basketball, a Norman Powell type player, something like that. And if I'm Kyrie, I'm coming right back. I'm coming right back to Dallas. Give me what am I worth? Am I worth 40? 40 a year? 3-year 120? 3-year 130? Whatever it is. If I'm Kyrie, I'm coming back because I know I'm the ball handler on that team. The basketball is in my hands. When Luka was there, it was not in his hands. It was on Luka's hands first. He's the first option. On this team, Kyrie, the ball's in his hands. He wants to run pick and roll with AD, he can do it. He wants to pull up and shoot a 3. Who's got the ball in his hands? He does. Gonna pull it. So if I'm Kyrie, I'm re-signing with Dallas.
See, Eddie Money, this is why we call him the guru, man. I have questions, he fucking answers them. Most of the times I agree.
Some answers.
Hey, like Jay said, we don't know shit about shit, but we know ball.
But we know ball, man. But we have Jay, our social media manager, just wrote us a song, and we're gonna debut that song next week. It's a banger, man. That's all I gotta say. It's a banger. It's hilarious. But no, that was my question. Do you have anything else?
Listen, the NBA is getting exciting, at least here in LA, because the Lakers got Luka, obviously. But I'll tell you right, when they get into the playoffs, if I'm the Lakers, the only team that if I'm the Lakers, I worry about in the playoffs is still the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Joker, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, they have guys who can shoot the basketball, and Joker is a guy who's going to be tough to guard. And I don't think Jackson Hayes, as good as he's been playing, I don't think he's going to – nobody can, in reality, I think, keep up with the Joker up in a half-court set or anything. But
they had a specific game plan against the Joker. It was definitely not Jackson Hayes one-on-one, and it worked. Now, obviously, that's the beautiful thing about the NBA and 7-game series is that it is literally a fucking chess match. We're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. It's adjustments. But I mean, when they beat the Denver's ass, what they held the Joker to is like his worst game ever or something like that. There was a game plan.
They did a great job, and they had a lot of, they helped a ton, right? They helped a ton. LeBron was there helping, and then Vanderbilt, by the way, is playing really, really good defense.
Yes,
and their space. The thing with Luka and LeBron is that they both can get to the cup. So they both get to the cup. The spacing is insane. They're wide open threes. Every possession, there's a wide open shot. At least one or two guys, you're getting an open shot. You saw that play last night. Where, oh my God, are you kidding?
They tried to run zone. They tried to run zone.
No chance. No chance. And how many plays in the beginning of that game led to Luka driving to the basket and just a nice little lob to Jackson Hayes? LeBron go to the basket, nice little lob to Jackson Hayes. So I think they're going to be. I think the only team that could give them fits in the West for me is going to be Denver. I don't think the T-Wolves. I mean, the Thunder can keep up. The Thunder probably lose to the Lakers 4-2.
Man, no one's giving the Thunder any freaking respect. Nobody, and they're literally
it takes Shy
10 games
so
in first place.
Shy has to control.
It takes all of SGA.
Yeah,
it takes all of him.
He can do that on a night-to-night basis, but against the same team to win 4, that's not happening. And against like a real playoff team, that's not happening.
Have you noticed all year though? Have you guys noticed all year? And this is what I sort of dig about the Thunder when they play a TNT game or a Saturday at NBC or whatever the fuck. NBC is not a thing on NBA anymore.
It's about to be actually. So.
Oh yeah. But have you noticed when they do interviews?
Yeah,
they bring the whole team. Like that's shit that I noticed. That's building and culture. That's the kind of shit that scares me when it comes to Oklahoma. I feel like people are looking past them because they're young and what's his name? Chet
Holmgren's not playing right now, I don't think.
No, he might not be. But the funniest shit you'll ever see in your life is Chet Holmgren walking into the arena and he's trying to wear some kind of fashion, and it's just it never works. Whatever he's wearing, he just does not look right. I feel so bad for that dude. He could have as much money. That dude could be a Louis Vuitton from head to toe, and it's gonna look awkward on him.
Yeah.
Maybe if they get him back at full strength, we'll see. But even then, I don't see it. Maybe they win one series against whoever that 8 seed is, but I don't see them. I can't see them beating. I would even say that they would have trouble in a 7-game series against Phoenix. I really do. I think the only team they match up against in the West that they can beat is Minnesota, because I don't, Cat for me, them losing Cat, I think is a big deal. And Julius Randle is not Cat. And he's been hurt. He hasn't played enough to even gel with the team. And he's had some bright spots here and there. And but even then, I think the only Phoenix I think beats Oklahoma. The Lakers can beat Oklahoma. Denver I think could beat Oklahoma. I don't think the Thunder are there. I think they need another superstar. I don't want to see 3 Williams out on the court with SGA and Chet Holmgren. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, SGA has had to average 32 points in the last month.
Dude, he's had games.
You say has to. It's not. It doesn't look like he's working hard to do it. It's not
because he gets like 15 free throws a night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but they've been down big in games, and he leads them right back. So I mean, the other night I think they were down 15 in the first half to Houston, and by the end of the third quarter, I think they were up 11.
Yeah.
So. And they've had a handful of games like that. They blew a game the other day against Minnesota at home after beating their ass after beating their ass the night before in Minnesota. It's kind of those home and home things. So I can't see them winning. I can't see them getting to the NBA Finals. I think I just can't. Not for me.
I hope you're right. Before we get off of NBA, I feel like we gotta show a little bit of respect to the Eastern Conference. You have the Celtics, Cavs. Cavs look so freaking good. Big matchup Saturday night. Lakers, Celtics. Rafa, can I get a little breakdown on a little Eastern Conference? What up, Zach? We're talking NBA basketball, man. Any thoughts on this matchup with the Celtics?
I mean, the lead up, we know that this is going to be huge, right? I'll preview the NBA Finals, yada yada yada, which it could happen. I still think Milwaukee's playing a lot better since probably like the end of December, beginning of January. I think Milwaukee will beat Boston. I think Cleveland has all the pieces. Cleveland for me has all of the pieces to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I really do. And Boston has all the pieces as well. Tatum and Brown. And the thing about those guys is I feel like their offense is it's less structured with Boston, I think they just rely so much on their talent. And when you get down to half-court sets and stuff like, I don't think they can beat. I don't think a fully healthy Milwaukee team. I don't think Boston can beat a fully healthy Milwaukee team. And I think they'll struggle with Cleveland. I could see if they played Cleveland, I could see that series going 7 games.
I love Mobley. Shout out to SoCal. Zach, you missed it. I asked Rafa, and Zach is one of those guys that, Jordan, the GOAT, he probably put fucking Kobe before LeBron, which is ridiculous. But Zach, the question to all you LeBron haters, how can you deny LeBron James as the GOAT at 40 years old if he takes this Laker team to an NBA championship and is doing what he's doing? I thought the debate was over. I thought it could never be argued again, but I see a path to that. And Zach, this is something that all you LeBron haters are going to have to fucking deal with, because if that happens,
but I'll tell you their argument right away. Well, he had Luka. He had Luka. That will be their argument. He had Luka.
Jordan had fucking Scotty.
Yes, and the difference with the difference, and it's just so simple. It's like it's not this hard. It's literally simple. LeBron James leads his team when they get to the playoffs in every fucking category, with the exception of rebounds the year with AD. But Michael Jordan never did any of that. Not in steals, not in assists. What?
Are you sure about that?
Oh, Scotty led them every year.
In the playoffs, you're saying?
In the playoffs, Scotty led them every year over Michael in points, rebounds, and assists. I mean, in rebounds, assists, and steals. Scotty every year. Every year. Phil Jackson said it. I told you last week. Phil Jackson said one time during their runs, by the way. It might have been, I think it was before the first time they three-peated. I think it was that. It was like, Scotty's our best player. So he said that. So you never have that doubt in LeBron. D Wade never could out rebound or assist or any of that with LeBron. It just didn't happen. It wasn't happening. And the year that he lost the finals against the Warriors team, he led all of the teams. That means both of the teams, all 24 players in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. All of them. That means Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, all of them.
I knew Zach was some great rage bait. He said, LeBron is great. There's no shame being the second greatest of all time.
Listen, we can't sit here and debate this all the time. Your one claim on Michael Jordan that he's greater than LeBron is that he was 6-0.
Yes.
That is it. That is the one thing. So, but everyone forgets that Bill Russell won 11 titles, but it was a different era. Guess what other era was different? Michael Jordan's era was different than this one. It was. The guys were softer. Dude, do you look at how many free throws they shot back then compared to now? Look at the difference. Look at the disparity. It's huge. It's huge. So it's not the same. So, the eras. Bro, LeBron James is great at 40 years old. That is the difference. At 40 years old, LeBron is still great. still great. That counts for something. That really does. It has to count for something.
I'll tell
Jordan
you what, man.
faded in the night.
Adam Silver, aka Nosferatu, he's like, there's already conspiracy theories that the Lakers are getting their free throw attempts and calls are just like 20% higher. Like this is a narrative that Adam Silver is trying to push. We need LA, New York, right? You watch Dodgers, Yankees, biggest series ever. We need LA Celtics. We need LA Knicks. We need that big ratings grabber. And there's already people talking shit that the refs are blowing the whistle for the Lakers.
Well, I mean, they can start crying about it, but it is.
All right, last thing before we move off, you said, Rafa, at what point do you say LeBron is greater than MJ?
2018. 2018, that's when I thought LeBron James was better than Michael Jordan. That's when I knew it was. That's actually when I knew it was over. Because in 2016, after LeBron came back from 3-1 and Draymond got suspended, he shouldn't have been suspended, but he was. He did kick the guy in the nuts, whatever. And then they came back and won that series. All right? Because it did happen. It happened. Oh, well, he got suspended. Oh, he got suspended. All right. It happened. Just like it happened that fucking Kevin Garnett got hurt and then Perkins got hurt for the Lakers. It fucking happened. He got suspended. LeBron came back from 3-1. The fact that he came back from 3-1, beat a team that had 73 wins, and then that team with 73 wins goes and gets the second best player in the league at the time to join a 73-win team to then beat LeBron James, that's when I knew he was the greatest player. But 2018 certified it. 8 straight NBA finals? Oh, it's because the East sucked. Yes, according to you guys, the East sucked. LeBron leaves the East. The next year, the Raptors win the title. That's how. And then the year after that, LeBron won the title. And the year after that, the East won the title again. But the East sucked. Yes, it sucked because LeBron was there. That's why they sucked. That's why they had no fucking chance. You know when the East sucked? When Michael Jordan was there. The Patrick Ewing fucking Knicks. The Reggie Miller.
What? No. Detroit
Eddie,
Pistons didn't suck. The Celtics.
Eddie, stop. Eddie, wait a minute.
When he came into power,
Eddie, when he came into power, okay, when Michael Jordan came into power, you know how many times he beat the Celtics? Hold on, I'll tell you.
0.
This many times he beat Larry Bird. This fucking many, not one.
I know.
When Michael Jordan finally won an NBA final, that he got to one was when the Detroit Pistons were done. You know that after Michael Jordan won his first title, do you know that for the next 10 years, the Celtics and Pistons only made the playoffs twice combined? Maybe 3 times, but I think it was twice as a 5 seed and an 8 seed, by the way. Combined. The Pistons were completely done. The Pistons at full strength, Michael Jordan could not beat them. Period. He couldn't beat them in a series. He might have beat him, but he really couldn't. They dominated him. And then they were done. And when Michael Jordan started winning, those teams were terrible. I'm sorry. The Knicks teams were horrible.
Yes.
Those teams were terrible. That was all Jordan's winning. All those teams were trash. The Knicks, the Pacers, garbage. Literally garbage. They were trash.
Not arguing that. But also, Jordan comes into the league. He came into basically Chicago Bulls were the fucking Clippers. Okay, there was no one. He scored 66 in 63. Boston Garden.
63 and lost the game. By the way, that year, you know how many games he was under 500 and made those playoffs? They were under 500 and made the playoffs. But the East was good. The East was good, and Michael Jordan's team under 500 made the playoffs. But the East was good.
It was dominant at the top. You had the Celtics and the Pistons.
It was dominated 2 teams. That was it. That was it. That was it. There was nothing else. So throughout the regular season, there wasn't a fight. He got to the playoffs under 500. He got to the playoffs without winning 40 fucking games. The other thing is that LeBron James made the finals in year 4. In year 4, that man made the finals. Okay? Don't forget that. He made the finals in year 4. Michael Jordan in year 4, yeah, he was winning a dunk contest, but he wouldn't win the fight. He wouldn't get to the finals. So, there's so much. LeBron James is all about. No, I know you are.
Devil's advocate. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, and people say, "Oh no, it's because Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's not even the greatest winner in the NBA. It was Bill Russell." But we just forget Bill Russell because that was in the 60s. He was one of 3 black dudes in the league, we can say.
Yeah. Bob Cousy was his fucking point guard. Couldn't dribble the ball with his left hand. There was 2 black dudes. It was fucking Wilt Chamberlain and fucking Bill Russell.
Sam Jones, Dr. J. Come on.
Dr. J.
Dr. J was later. Come on.
Sam Jones was on his team. Sam Jones was on Bill Russell's team.
We're trying to put Bob Cousy and Dr. J in the same time.
Jesus.
By the way, Bob Cousy's numbers, phenomenal when he retired, by the way.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of Pat McAfee show. They were doing something on. I was just walked in the house and they showed a bunch of highlights of Bob Cousy. You know, everyone makes fun. They dribbled the ball in the center of the center of their body, and every highlight he was. Some dude called him the Elvis before his time because he was stealing all the black guys' moves. Like he was the first dude to ever dribble between his legs, first dude to throw a pass behind his back. But never dribbled the ball with his left hand.
But the game.
Hey, Jalen Brown still does that, and he's an all-star.
But the game evolves as the game evolves with Michael Jordan, and the game has evolved. When Michael Jordan was playing, Michael Jordan was in the air, this and that. Dude, how many guys do we see do that now? Mm-hmm. Like literally, it's a different game now. The guys are athletically better, and for LeBron James at 40 years old,
for 10 straight seasons, Bob Cousy basically averaged 26 and 7.
Yeah. Yes, he did
with no 3-point line.
Mm-mm.
When he retired, I think he was 3rd all time in scoring. By the way,
banking shots, just fucking off the backboard. Bang.
When he retired, he was like 3rd all time in scoring. You know who was 3rd all time in scoring when he retired? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's a black Bob Cousy.
Oh,
wow. You know when LeBron James retires, where he's going to be at the tip list? Number 1.
Okay, hold on. Because I heard this morning as well. Okay. What if Kareem was able to come out like LeBron did? I mean, Kareem came out and was the best player his freshman year, or actually you couldn't play your freshman year at UCLA. That was a rule. But what if Kareem had another 3 years? And Kareem prolifically was a better scorer than LeBron James. People don't talk about that. What if Kareem came out his sophomore year into the NBA? LeBron still would not be the all-time leading scorer.
That's fine, but guess what? He is.
He is, yeah.
Like Zach, he is. But he is. And like we can't what if because anytime anybody ever what ifs me in the NBA, it's always a Laker fan. And if you want to what if me in the NBA, you are fucked because I will what if you that the Boston Celtics team that started fucking Rajon Rondo, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kendrick Perkins never lost a 7-game series where they all started. So don't ever what if me in the NBA as a Laker fan because I will drop you like a bad fucking habit.
I thought that was a great. That's actually a fact. What I said. If Kareem came out,
if my grandmother had a dick, she would be my grandfather. So there's a lot of what ifs here. Like Zach says,
we do live in California.
So great, if LeBron's so great, I talk about him like he has 7 rings. Bill Russell has 11.
Yeah,
nobody mentions him. Robert Horry has more titles than Michael Jordan. Nobody gives a flying fuck.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're talking about greatness on the basketball court. If you really believe that Michael Jordan is a better basketball player all around, because basketball is not just scoring. Like, I don't understand why people just think basketball is just scoring. Yes, at the end of the day, the game ends 102 to 101. It was the team who has the most points. Yes. But how did you get there? LeBron's a better rebounder than Michael Jordan. He's a better passer than Michael Jordan. He can guard all 5 positions, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. LeBron James is a fucking, he's like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson put into one. That's what he is with the fucking strength, of close to, and this is a reach, but there's
Karl Malone.
nobody stronger than Karl Malone. Oh, stronger than Karl Malone. He's
Can we
between
pick
Karl
somebody else,
Malone.
please?
Okay, Karl Malone was a phenomenal player. He's
No,
the
I know,
strength
but-
between Karl Malone and Shaquille O'Neal. Strength-wise.
Ooh,
Strength-wise.
Easy.
In between. I'm not saying he's Shaq because Shaq was 7'1" monster at 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. But in between, like that, he's right there. He's a lot stronger player than Karl Malone was, and a lot better shooter.
What?
Karl Malone
Eddie Money, we can't talk about Karl Malone? We can't talk about O.J. Simpson? We're talking about them on the
Karl-
court, man.
Karl Malone and O.J. Simpson are a little different.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with Karl, man.
Oh, hell
Oh,
no.
well, that
I'm
might
tired
be...
of you hating on Karl, man.
No, that.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
that's,
We
that
gotta
ain't
move to
even-
NFL
that
It
ain't
now.
was a different era. It was a different era.
No.
What that? 200 BC?
It's a different time, man. It's a different time. It's a
All right,
different
now we
time.
got to move on to NFL.
Full
We
Diddy
gotta
with Karl Malone.
move on to NFL. I also need to refill my drink, but let's get on with it. NFL.
Hold the fuck
Oh,
on.
no.
Are
Zach.
you kidding? Put
What?
that up. Put that comment up. LeBron's longevity, but at their prime. Dude, I don't know if you
Okay,
watch
I'm gonna go get my
basketball, Zach.
drink.
Does Zach watch basketball? Guess who plays like they're still in their prime? LeBron James. Any money? Am I wrong? Does LeBron James not still play like he's in his prime?
Zach, LeBron has been in his prime for as long as I've been alive.
Bro, he's chilling in his prime. His prime is 22 years. Let's say 20 years of prime. That motherfucker's 20 years of prime.
It's insane.
Who else has 10? Who has 10?
Who
Because
has
Jordan got hurt.
Mhm.
So, dude, and LeBron James is the only player that they could give him the MVP every year, and they've chosen not to. From
Yeah.
2008 to 2018, LeBron James could have won the MVP every fucking season. He really could have.
Yeah,
He
Zach-
really could
Zach, I
have.
don't know why you said that. That was probably the worst thing you could have ever said.
Yeah, I don't know about that. While Eddie's getting his drink, we're gonna jump into the NFL and
Damn.
well, Eddie, we'll wait for Eddie to get back. Eddie watched the combine all weekend. He's probably
yeah.
still watching. He's still watching the combine.
He's watching the replay of the combine to make sure he
He's-
doesn't miss a prospect.
he
And he's
doesn't-
going to have a long email list
Oh,
over
yeah, yeah.
to the Raiders.
over the Raiders, who the Raiders will instantly delete. It goes straight into their spam. And is there anything worse than spam? Whatever, like spam 2? That's where Eddie's shit's going. Like Eddie's shit does. Eddie's email's been blocked already. Like I think his IP address is just completely blocked from the Raiders. That shit just
Whoa.
hits. It just goes into some cloud
For sure.
for Eddie. So, but into the NFL, the Raiders. We mentioned it earlier. They signed Max Crosby to all the money in the world. Good for him. He deserves it. The Raiders
Max
deserve a good
Crosby,
player. I
He
guess.
is now the most paid non-quarterback in the NFL. He had a 3-year extension, $106.5 million with $91 million guaranteed.
So now on that deal, real quick, he
Yeah.
got that deal. Now, if you're Dallas, right, and you got to pay Micah, how close are you to that money?
I think they're gonna. It's gonna be higher. Not only that, Myles Garrett also gonna.
Miles
this
Garrett.
this
Miles
is-
deserves every penny
That-
and then some. I'll pick
Myles
this
Garrett
out.
deserves 100 guaranteed.
Oh,
he's-
he deserves the
No.
world.
and more. So this great. He should scream it from the heavens because this is gonna last for 2 weeks. He will be the highest non-paid quarterback for 2 weeks, and this is how the NFL works, right?
Mhm.
But Max deserves it, but you better fucking take care of Micah Parsons. I mean, the difference between Myles Garrett is that they don't want to trade him, and they've already shut down talks. I bet you anything that Cleveland has offered him, more than this, but he just does not want to be in Cleveland.
He wants
And-
the queen, man.
And watch out, because rumors are somehow Philadelphia could pull this shit off. There's good
See,
teams out there with cap space.
And if the Eagles get any of the top DNs on the market, man, I'm gonna be pissed.
Because I believe Sweat's a free agent.
Sweat's a free agent. They have two free agents on the defensive line.
Yeah, go ahead and get. You have Carter and Myles Garrett on the same defensive line. Papa.
By the way,
Ooh.
the Cowboys cleared up 30 plus million in cap space today, reworking Dak's deal.
Oh, they
They
needed
just
to do
reworked
that.
Dax, and then they just reworked CDs yesterday or the other day, I believe.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
They're
And Dallas
looking
is
to find
Dallas
someone.
is a Dallas is a
Listen.
destination for Myles, who has expressed interest in the Cowboys.
Listen,
I thought he wanted to win.
He
There's a bu-
expressed interest in the Cowboys, man.
let's get into this.
I'm
Okay.
only telling you the expressions of my boy
Listen.
Myles, man. That's all.
Listen. We have a ton of more NFL news to get into, but since we're on Dallas, let's hit Dallas right now, okay? Because there's a lot of rumors come out of the combine. Everyone's talking this shit. GMs are throwing smoke screens. Word on the street is that they're not going to resign a lot of these free agents in Dallas.
They're making a splash somewhere.
And we all know what happened last year. Jerry Jones comes out and says, we're all in, and did absolutely fucking nada. Niet, nothing. Dallas right now, to me, seems like a black hole. And if Myles Garrett, which I agree.
There's only one black hole in the NFL, Eddie. You know that.
Easy.
You know that, Ed.
But it doesn't even exist anymore in Vegas, actually.
Oh no, it's technically still a black hole in the NFL.
Yeah.
Although they just gave the guy a bunch of money.
But Rafa, how do you fix this team? You need a running back. You need another fucking receiver on the other side of CeeDee Lamb. You need defensive backs. You need linebackers. There's so much need with so little wiggle room and cap space. I know you just mentioned
they just freed
they
up a
created,
bunch of money. They freed up a bunch of money.
$38 million goes like that. Ow.
Well, that's just what they created. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you for me, they have to rebuild the offensive line. I think it starts there. I think you need to go out and get you need some linemen. You need at least one. You gotta replace Doug Martin. They need an offensive line help.
Zach Martin.
Or Zach Martin. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You need to rebuild the offensive line, and then the running back. I think you can find the running back in the draft.
Oh, for sure. There's 10 great ones.
Yeah, and then to add another receiver, the receiver part, like where are you going if you're Dallas? Are you going Devontae Adams to Dallas? Which I can see the Chiefs making that move for Devontae maybe. But for me, Dallas, I think another receiver in the draft as well, maybe in the third round or something. I don't think Dallas is that far off as
you said that last year.
Last year they got hurt, and Mike McCarthy has.
I told you last year they were gonna suck. You're the only one that believed that they were gonna be good last year.
Because I believe Dak's a good quarterback when healthy. I really do.
I agree. I don't disagree with that point. I like Dak. I'll take Dak every fucking day in Las Vegas. But
I think Dallas has holes everywhere, right? Like so many teams have holes or whatever. But they have cornerstone pieces. They have CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons. Those are corner. What's the corner that I think is overrated? Deron Bland.
Yeah,
like they have pieces and they have cornerstone pieces, at least 3. So you can build off of that. And so for me, that's why I don't think they're that far off of making a playoff, making the playoffs this year. But I think they have to address the offensive line. I would address the running back through the draft, another receiver maybe through the draft. You need to address the defense, and you need a linebacker for sure. And although the kid Overshown, who played last year, was phenomenal, I think he got hurt at the end, but he was really fucking good for them. Really good. And all the Cowboys fans will tell you, like, they were impressed with that kid. So, and you got to get Micah paid. Dude, he can't keep going out there not paid. Like I feel like you have to pay him. And if you make a move for Myles, I mean, could you imagine Myles and Micah on opposite sides? That'd be better than getting another receiver.
The only team that could fuck that up would be the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, they did fuck up Derrick Henry. They did fuck up the Derrick Henry thing.
Oh yeah, come on.
So
I think
Dallas
Dallas
will be fine. Give me 10 wins for Dallas. Early 10 wins.
Man.
I love it. Craziness.
speaking of receiver, there is a receiver on the market. DK Metcalf requested a trade today, and his contract currently as it stands, he would cost $18 million a year. You have any ideas of where he could go?
There's a reason why he requested a trade. He's been in negotiations for 2 weeks, and they're not going to give him more. I know he has one more year, and I looked at this because you can guess who texted me, Rafa. I'm not going to say his name, but it rhymes with Bon Papman. Okay, and says we should get DK Metcalf. I'm like, the Raiders, what? Because he has ties with Pete Carroll. Look at the top 10 receivers in the NFL. To me, although the attributes, 4.38, I mean, fucking Zeus, right? DK is not a top 10 receiver in the league. And I don't know who's going to fucking pay him as one. He might be 10, Rafa, I'm telling you. Listen, someone's going to grab him. Someone's going to trade, but I would not give up, a first, not a first, maybe a late round second, but at best for me, a third round pick for DK, because he's going to want to get paid in that top 5 bracket of $30 million. DK is not a $30 million receiver in my eyes.
What's DK's age?
27. He's 27 years old.
27,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play GM for the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me DK Metcalf. You can have my second round pick. I'll pay DK Metcalf $25 million a year because I don't have an elite pass catcher and I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. I just made the Super Bowl with nobody, with a fucking tight end who's fading like Michael Jordan on the Wizards. He's just it's just what it is, right? He's fading like MJ in the fucking Washington Wizards fucking jersey. Maybe
out of nowhere.
Maybe a Washington Bullets throwback night. Okay, he's fading quick. You need a receiver. DK can make that happen because what Kansas City has done for the last couple of years, they went and get Juju, a receiver who's completely washed, old guy. He's done. Yeah. They go and get Hopkins, a receiver who's old. He's done. He's washed. What are you going to do next year? You're going to go and get Devontae because you keep relying on Kelsey. You need to move away from that. You need to go and get a receiver. DK's 27 years old. You can structure a deal 5 years, whatever. You cut him after 3 because he's probably going to be done by then. But we'll see. But I think DK. The thing is too. You're in Seattle. Your quarterback's Geno Smith. The city sucks dick. The state
He threw for 1 trillion yards.
Yeah, but it's the city, Ed. It's the city. It's the city. Why did the Supersonics leave? The place is a shithole. It's terrible.
It's the Emerald City, man.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It's disgusting.
Listen, Eddie Money, do you see what's going on here, Eddie Money? You see what's going on here? He's already tried to give the Chiefs Davante Adams, and now he's already fucking working in fucking DK Metcalf.
It should definitely be DK. It shouldn't be Devontae because everyone thinks it's going to be Devontae, and you cannot, as your Kansas City, you need to realize that Travis Kelce is now basically an end of the road tight end. He's
what he is. He's shit, and he is the Dallas Cowboys. He's Jason Witten.
He's Witten.
Jason fucking Witten when he went to fucking the Oakland Raiders. That's exactly what he is.
He's right around there, and so you need to make a splash. I can see DK though, Eddie, getting paid from somebody. I can see DK somebody trading and paying him. How about Carolina, who doesn't have a real number one? They have the rookie that they drafted, but DK would be a big help for him.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing with DK Metcalf. Top end speed, physical, but is he a that like 5-tool fucking center fielder? Does he have all the tricks in his grab bag as a receiver? And I feel like he is not a complete receiver, although he has everything. He has vertical jump, he has good hands, top end speed, the physicality, but he's missing like that thing that Amari Cooper has and Marvin Harrison had. Is like the moves, the separation. I feel like he's missing that part of being a great receiver.
I think he's still top 10. I think he's worth the money. I think he's worth the money, and he's probably worth the second or third round pick.
If I'm the Raiders, I'd give him the third round we got for Devontae.
Yeah,
That's
Raider,
legit.
I'm down with third round pick. I'm down with that. But
The
I'm not
problem is
paying.
this.
I'm not
The
paying him
problem-
$25 million.
The problem is this: if he goes to the Raiders, right? Hypothetical. Who's the quarterback?
Yeah.
Who is throwing them the ball? How about a team like Denver, who doesn't have a real number one receiver, who just made the playoffs? Right,
Yeah.
something like that. Like teams that just made the playoffs that don't have real number one receivers. That's what you look at.
Yeah.
And that's who the teams that should make that move. And that's the team that he should want to be traded to. Although he get traded wherever the fuck the team, gets a deal, right? But Denver can pay him. The Raiders can pay him. There's plenty of teams that can pay him. And I think he's worth, I don't think he's worth Jamar Chase money or Justin Jefferson or
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek
No,
Hill. He's
he's
not
wor-
worth that money, but he's worth the second tier. I think he's worth second tier money.
Yeah, top 15, not top 10 though.
Ooh, well,
He might be, 7, 8, 9.
No.
I don't know. Maybe a CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill,
Puka.
Amon Ra, Puka,
St. Brown.
Yeah. AJ Brown.
Nico Collins.
you know.
AJ Brown, Nico Collins. Yeah, and
I'm
he's
telling
like 10 Eddie's money's right, 10 to 15 in that range there. But I think he's still worth 20 plus million, 24, 25, whatever the number is.
I'll give him 22.
He's not worth 30. And he's
No, not
definitely
30,
not
but
worth
20,
30.
around
And
20,
and yeah, but I still think he's a good receiver. I think he's a good receiver and be a great ad for a ton of teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think him and Jacoby Myers would be a great one too.
Oh, stop. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? They don't even have a quarterback, Eddie Money.
Exactly.
It's hard. You know what? Rafa's going to throw that in our face, and we have no rebuttal for that.
Until we
just have
draft Jackson Dart, baby.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But
So,
speaking of, we talked about him earlier, Devontae Adams. He was cut by the Jets, and the Jets have also moved on from Aaron Rodgers. Are these two going to continue the rest of their NFL career together and go to another team? Or do they go their separate ways and just cash grab for the remaining couple seasons?
you want to take that, Rafa?
Man,
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, like Aaron Rodgers, what are you getting with Aaron Rodgers at this point, right? Like,
Oh, man.
to have Aaron Rodgers right now, it has to be a team that has a good offensive line, like a decent offensive line, like a
Yes.
team that needs a quarterback. You need to be able to protect the quarterback, and you need to be able to run the ball at this stage in Aaron Rodgers' career. Like, you don't need Aaron Rodgers to go to a team that, they have all this talent on the outside, but they can't block the quarterback. Right. And they can't run the ball. You need to be able to run at this stage in his career. I think you need to be able to run the ball efficiently. I'm talking about 120, 130 yards a game, not by one guy as a fucking unit, right?
Yeah.
Of rushing the ball, not fucking 80 yards that they were getting last year, 88 or whatever they ended with. You need to be able to run the ball. So he's not out there throwing the ball 30 plus times a game, 32, 33 times a game. Like that. That's what I think for Aaron Rodgers. And he's a bridge guy. And a lot of people say, well, the Giants might not pick a quarterback. Could he go to the Giants? Other teams that are uncertain. Do the Titans sign Aaron Rodgers and take Travis Hunter and let Will Levis sit 1 year under Aaron Rodgers and see how that works? I mean, and give that another shot later on. Who knows? Will Rodgers even consider going down to Tennessee? I mean, there's all sorts of different scenarios, obviously, right? Does he come into Indianapolis and put pressure on Anthony Richardson to because I don't think he will, because I think any spot that he goes into, Aaron Rodgers is going to be, he's got to go in as the starter. He's not going to come in and, sit in the back, he's not sit as a backup.
Not only is he going to go into as I'm the starter, Rafa, and word on the street is that Giants, I think he's going to go to the Giants. I think the Giants trade up to Tennessee. Tennessee likes Abdul Carter. They move back, they switch. And I think you do bring in Aaron Rodgers in New York. Why? God forbid that this happens. Why it wouldn't work in Las Vegas is because Chip Kelly does not run any type of offense. Like, when you bring in Aaron Rodgers, you're also bringing in one of the brilliant minds and best and most talented quarterbacks in our era, in history. And you're trying to run a RPO with Aaron Rodgers? Are you fucking kidding me? It's never going to work in Vegas because of the offensive system. So I could see it happening in New York with the Giants. I think that's going to happen. Now, as far as Davante Adams, again, another 1,000 yards with the struggles that were in Las Vegas for a while, and then obviously with the Jets. I think 5 now or 6 seasons still with 1,000+ yards, still very productive. I do think San Francisco 49ers is a good option now that.
Oh, that's a great fucking option. Wow,
Yeah.
what a call.
No, because listen,
fucking call.
Debo's gone. Ayuk is on the trading block. I think John Lynch wants to get rid of him. I think the spot for him, and I just came back from Palo Alto. It's freaking gorgeous. He went to Palo Alto High School with Jock Peterson. Didn't get, by the way, Jock Peterson got Athlete of the Year with Davante Adams on that freaking team. But I think San Francisco makes the most sense for DA. And I think that could make a lot of sense. I'm hoping it doesn't go to Kansas City, but that also makes some sense to me.
I think he's just a little older, and if I'm Kansas City, I got to move away from that. I need to find a guy that's going to be my next guy for Kansas City. You don't have any weapons for Patrick Mahomes at this point. There are no fucking weapons. Literally, there's no weapons there. So you got to the Super Bowl, and I don't know. I don't know how the fuck that happened, to be honest with you. When we look back at this shit.
The fucking defense. The defense.
Yes.
Thank God Rafa said it at least.
They somehow scored 32 points to beat the Bills. Nobody knows how it happened. But it happened because they have fucking Patrick Mahomes. But he's got to be able to throw the ball to somebody. And I don't think it should be another one of these old receivers. Not Juju, not Hopkins, not DA. I think it should be someone a lot younger and a lot better at this stage in their career. So Davante, another spot where Davante would maybe fit as a number 2 receiver could be in Chicago.
Yes.
That's a loaded wide receiver room.
No,
I think Keenan Allen's done.
He's a free agent. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he should fucking retire at this point.
Too many years.
I did hear that. Like, he should go there. Like, you have DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. You have 2. Rome didn't do a lot. He was a number 9 pick in the draft. They don't need another fucking receiver over there in Chicago. They need an offensive line. Speaking of offensive line and the Bears and the Chiefs, Joe Thuney, all-pro guard, which this makes no sense to me. Okay. The Chiefs trade him to the Chicago Bears for a 4th-round pick. And we know Big John was pissed off. That didn't make any sense to me. Now you're looking for a left tackle. Now you're looking for a guard and another tackle over in Kansas City. When obviously your issue in the Super Bowl was protecting Patrick Mahomes. What the fuck is going on in Kansas City, Eddie Money?
I don't know. But speaking of offensive line, we also have our
yes. Maybe you and Creed Humphrey, maybe you could line up right next to Creed Humphrey at fucking right guard. I know you're a center, and I know your fucking microphone doesn't work.
I was about to say, I know exactly where they could pick up 2 offensive linemen. I'm staring at one bald-headed one and one Puerto Rican one right here. A Cuban and the first Cuban Puerto Rican duo ever in the NFL.
Dude.
Here we have it.
I could fucking set. Oh man, don't watch. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking do that all fucking day, bang. But me and Rob,
I would love to get Eddie on a single man sled and just have him fire off the ball. That was my
dude, are you kidding me? I fucking killed the sled. I was like fucking JJ Watt on fucking Hard Knocks 2 hours after practice is over, just fucking wrecking the sled.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, offensive lineman CJ Wowo's in the house. National champion at St. John Bosco. Starting center. I mean,
No,
D1
this intro
athlete. Yeah,
should not be the longest.
Yeah.
Fucking intros
okay,
for
but-
hours.
Listen, what is Kansas City doing with the offensive line? They need weapons, and now they need an offensive line, and they're not signing Nick Bolton at linebacker. They're not signing Reed at defensive back. What's going on, man?
I don't know.
I think they got
Great.
so manhandled that it didn't matter having an all-pro guard. He got his ass whooped. So it's just might as well fuck it. And for them to only get a 4th-round pick was he really that good?
I can tell you it doesn't make sense because you have the most championed golden weapon in the history of the NFL, and you want to protect that at all costs. And you not having or trading guys, it seems unnecessarily, is not the way to do it.
Listen, the Chiefs don't make too many mistakes, so I trust what the Chiefs did. And everyone.
Well, Patrick Mahomes, his style of play demands that he has a good offensive line, and if you're still searching and sucking for offensive linemen, when he's going to play the same way, he's going to get out of the pocket, he's going to run, he's going to almost get hit and get a 15-yard flag to somehow win the game at the end of the game of every game he plays in.
Whoa.
So I'm just saying. So you need good offensive linemen to help him do that. You have to have good offensive linemen to help pick him up and start fights and not get called for it when you get that penalty. You need that.
I
They
do
can't
feel
be so
Rafa-
good that they don't let anybody through. They gotta hit him for like 1-2 seconds, and then he gets through.
Right.
And then right as he throws the ball, that's when they hit him, land on him fully, boom, 15 yards the first time.
No, but in all seriousness, Kansas City Chiefs fans don't. They just are not happy.
But I do agree with Rafa
Bears trade.
on this. I do feel like it's so suspicious, it's so fishy to only give. It's like we're not in that locker room. We don't know his injury history. I do feel like you gave him away, and he's been a stud wherever he's played. I feel like it almost doesn't make so much sense. Like you feel like they know something we don't, right? It has that kind of because Kingsley, who they drafted from BYU, the huge Samoan kid, he wasn't ready.
Oos.
Are you saying that dude's gonna be ready? Our guard or tackle? I feel like he's too big to be a guard. He's like fucking 6'7", 3.
Guards are huge. Guards at this point are almost basically tackles.
But you don't want them to be 6'7".
6'10".
Most guards are 6'5", 6'6", 6'5". That's
No, what's an average? No way. That's
100%, 100%.
No,
Hey,
guards,
and this is a big difference, huh?
I want a guard.
Most centers are in that 6'4", 6'5" range.
Oh, okay.
Most
Sounds
centers
like
are
a
not.
big-ass
Most
fucking
centers
dude.
are not Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey was short.
I guarantee you, Creed Humphrey is not taller than 6'3". I bet you the average guard in the NFL is not bigger than 6'3".
Whoa, come on now.
I'm telling you that you want it to look like this.
Creed Humphrey's
But-
6'4", Eddie.
Whatever.
Creed Humphrey is a big old motherfucker.
All right.
Whatever.
Anyway, moving on to one of Eddie's favorite things from last week, the Combine. Just to recap it real quick. I feel like the main two takeaways, I feel like, were Jackson Dart had an amazing day, and Will Howard.
Well,
Fucking
Howard was Garbaggio
trash.
after Bellagio, man.
Rafa.
Dude, I don't know, man. They're white. What can happen?
Wait, hold on.
Analysis.
I thought
Great
I thought
analysis, Rafa.
white was the attribute you needed at quarterback.
Yeah,
On
but not
paper,
at
Will
the
Howard
combine.
is who
Not at
you
the
want, Rafa.
combine.
That's
The
just
combine,
being
dude. The combine.
contradicting because
The combine's for athletes, man. The combine's for athletes.
you're
that's just
moving
for
the
athletes, bro.
goalposts. You're moving.
I'm not moving the goalposts. Fucking
Yes,
let
you
these guys
are.
show out, jump out, all the whatever the fuck they want, and then you can draft Brock Purdy at the end of the draft. Who gives
Oh,
a fuck?
man.
God.
Listen,
Wait a minute,
I don't give a
Rafa.
fuck. You know what
Wait a
intangible?
minute.
You know what intangibles you can't fucking when you will and fucking they white. That's intangible you cannot change. They are white. So
You could not go into the sun.
they are white, baby. So I'm still good with it. I'm fine with it.
Listen, I've been pushing the narrative of Will Howard in the 3rd to 4th round to Vegas. I thought, man, this is going to be a perfect fit. This is perfect fit for Chip Kelly and the Raiders. He's going to drop. And then I saw what I saw. And I I record, so I'm watching this shit. I fall asleep to the combine even last
This
night.
is what me and Rafa talked about when you were here. Oh.
Are you
Told
serious?
you. 100%.
I swear to God.
Told you.
Listen,
Told you, man.
We said you have
Fuck.
it
I
on
don't know.
repeat.
I don't know.
I do.
I don't know a quarterback draft narrative that I haven't heard Eddie push. I've heard you push.
I have them all. I have them all.
Yeah, he's like, I've been pushing this narrative. I'm like, yes, Eddie, you've been pushing all the narratives.
But I thought
Every single one.
I thought Will Howard in the third made a lot of sense. You bring in a bridge quarterback, Kirk Cousins, whatever, and then let Will Howard cook. He looked horrible. And the one thing, because I've seen and I've actually repeated it and watched stuff over and over again, is the same commercial, which bothers me to holy hell. The same combine commercial, and they're showing repeats of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, King Henry, CeeDee Lamb, some of the best players in the NFL right now. And then I'm wondering why, these are greats. These are legends in our game that went to the combine, put their shit on the chopping block, competed with everyone. It's only pissed me off more that Shedeur, Cam Ward, Janty didn't run. Even T-Mac didn't run. It kind of bothered me, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm watching this.
I didn't know he wasn't running. I was I turned it on to see the receivers, and I was like, oh, where's T-Mac? And then I saw the news that he wasn't running.
It just pisses me off. And I really feel, the narrative that's really coming out of the combine right now is that Shedeur, and we know this, right? His father is prime, that it was more than cocky. You want a dick. Listen, you want a dickhead at quarterback. You want a cocky son. You want a Dan Marino. You want a John Elway. You want an Aaron Rodgers. You want a Tom Brady. You want a dude who thinks he's a badass mother effer at quarterback.
Tom Brady didn't think he was a bad motherfucker at quarterback.
Well, not. Yeah.
Tom Brady, when he was drafted, Tom Brady was drafted, and he wasn't even as good as Michael Jordan.
Hold on. Rafa, I know you've heard this story of when Tom Brady first met Kraft and came up to him, shook his hand, and said, "Mr. Kraft, I'm Tom Brady. You drafted me in the 6th round. This is the best move this organization ever made." That's kind of that's what I'm talking about. Why is Shedeur...
I think Kwame Brown said the same thing to Michael Jordan when he drafted him in Washington.
I'm sure a lot of draft picks have said that.
I've heard a lot. I've heard you've heard that line over and over in a different way.
Yeah, people say it all the time.
Okay.
It's just, it worked out this time. It worked out for Tom.
Okay.
It worked out for Tom because Drew Bledsoe got hurt. It worked out.
I guarantee you, Brock Purdy walked in with the last pick.
And he was like, "You got a dog right here."
Yeah. But here's the thing, Rafa.
Marcus Russell probably said the same thing too.
No, that motherfucker did not.
No, he didn't.
He's like, "You got some scissors? I got penicillin for you."
Where's the codeine?
Wow.
Where's the trainer?
I got some penicillin. Bring that motherfucker over.
So, Rafa, I know you're not a combine dude, but you have to. Why is Shedeur getting all this negative
entitlement, Eddie? That's why they don't throw. That's why they don't run, because they're entitled. They think they're entitled. He thinks he's the best quarterback in the draft. Caleb Williams did the same shit last year. They're getting paid in college. All of that plays into this. It plays into this. You've already made millions in college, and it's like, and you're already projected as one of the 2 or 3 picks in the draft. Why do I have to do this for you? Well, I don't have to do this shit. And he's probably going to have his pro day just to throw, in reality, the receivers and help out his guys. If he was an actual douchebag, he wouldn't even do that. So,
no. Okay.
But I think it's entitlement, and we're going to see it more and more every year. More and more every year, you're going to see it.
Listen, we've talked a shit ton of Shedeur Sanders. I've had bad takes.
I've had a quick question, actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If less of the guys that we know are going to get drafted, do you think that possibly could have a ripple effect and give the guys that are fighting for maybe bigger contracts or higher draft spots an opportunity to go to the draft and prove their athletic ability? Do you see that ripple effect having a positive maybe?
For sure.
Oh, 100%. Of course.
For sure.
But look at Howard, who was awful. You know, he might have been projected in the 4th round or whatever, and he was awful. So now imagine Shedeur comes in and he's projected as the number 3 pick or whatever, and then he's awful. Imagine if Caleb goes to that if he throws last year at the combine and he goes through it, he's probably not on the Chicago Bears. He's probably on the Washington Redskins, and the Bears probably take Jaden Daniels. I mean, who knows, right? But at the end of the day, if everyone thinks you're a top 3 pick, the only thing you can do in the combine is hurt yourself. That's it. That's all you're doing with your draft stock is you're hurting yourself.
So, Rafa.
Yeah.
And a Raider fan came up to me on Saturday and says, if Shedeur drops to the 6th pick, do the Raiders take him? And I say yes. And I want to give my opinion. You know, I think you and I are spot on how he takes too many sacks, needs to run the ball more. But here's what Shedeur Sanders doesn't get enough credit for. Shedeur Sanders' father, although he got paid, although he has a Audemars Piguet watch, although he drives a Rolls Royce, Shedeur Sanders is a hard worker. Shedeur Sanders has a vision of being a Hall of Fame quarterback. And it's not just a vision. His father is there guiding him. Like, if you want to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, what are you doing every day to accomplish this? I feel like Shedeur Sanders has the mental makeup to be successful in the NFL. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to put the work in to be successful in the NFL. Now, we know, and we've talked about his downfalls or his miscomings or whatever. But the one thing I think Shedeur Sanders has is a drive to be good and the willingness and know how to work to be good. And I don't think anyone really talks about that.
Well, I think Shedeur, I think you're spot on. I think Shedeur understands that he's on the path to be great, and he believes he will be great. So why come to the combine and affect any of that when you don't need it? He's projected to be a top 3 pick, probably the 1st or 2nd quarterback taken in this draft. Why do you need to show up for the combine and do the work? You don't have to do it. The only knock on him, and we know it, is him taking too many sacks. And I know the offensive line was bad, but there were sacks that he could have got away from. There were plays he could have taken off and run, and he didn't because he wanted to make the big play. He wanted to get the receivers involved. He wanted to show he can make certain throws, and we know he can make the throws, and we know he's a phenomenal quarterback. We know that. So for me, that's why it's easy for me to. It doesn't bother me that he missed the combine. Like I don't need it. Realistically, he doesn't need it. And anybody, I'm almost sure all 10 teams that have a chance to draft him or might draft him or whatever it is, 6, I think they all know his work ethic. They know everything. They know it all. So they didn't need to see him in Indianapolis go out there and be paraded around like a fucking show pony.
So do you think?
And he didn't need to do it.
But here's the thing: he didn't do it, and the narrative coming out is he's too cocky. He didn't come off in the interviews. Like, what I heard specifically was is that he didn't care what other teams thought about him. When he went into the interview room, he didn't give those, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He came off as, I don't care what you think of me. And it rubbed a lot of teams wrong.
I'm okay with that, though. Because I'm okay with that. All I care about is my quarterback when he's out on the field. I want him to believe that he's the baddest motherfucker on the field at that time. And I think Shedeur believes that. And as long as Shedeur believes that, then if I'm drafting him, I believe it. That's the thing. He walked in there and he went, and he you know what? Oh, he didn't impress it. Who gives a fuck? He doesn't need to. He impressed me on the field. He impressed me leading his team. He impressed me making that throw against Baylor at the end of regulation and then coming back and winning that game. That's where he impressed me. I don't need him to impress me sitting in a fucking room and oh, yeah, it's because I'm going to be such a great Titan or I'm going to be such a great Giant in the city of New York. I don't need him for that. I need him to go out there, and when he's out on the field, he's the baddest motherfucker, and he believes that he's the baddest motherfucker on the field. I want my quarterback to think and believe that he's the baddest motherfucker on the field every time he's on there. I don't care if he's on there lined up against Miles or Micah Parsons or any of those superstar defensive ends. I want him to believe that he is the best on the field at that moment, and Shedeur believes that. And he showed them in their interview. So if they took the interview the wrong way, where, oh, he's cocky, or I want my guy to believe he's the best. That's what I want. I don't want some guy that's come in here and think, oh, well, I can do this and I can do that. No, motherfucker, I showed you what I can do, and I'm going to do it. That's what I think. And that's what and Shedeur believes that. And I think anybody who drafts him, whether it's the Raiders or the Titans or the Jets or the Giants
Browns
or the Browns, I think they're going to get that. I think they're going to get a guy who's going to give it 1,000% all the time, and he will believe that he's the baddest motherfucker on the field when he's out there. He may not be, but if he believes it, he can be.
Sold.
Rafa
Let's move
that down.
That's what I wanted to hear from Rafa. And I truly believe he won't do. I've seen some crazy ass shit, Rafa. I've seen him dropped in some mock drafts to the 29th pick. I've seen some
that was a rage bait one. I saw that one though.
Yeah.
Rage bait.
Yeah. Well, I said, obviously.
Yeah.
But
let's
go get him at 3. Let's move up to 3. Let's go get Shedeur, man.
That's a lot. But to round out this episode, we have the most exciting event of the weekend, UFC 313.
Oh, I thought
Alex,
you say ACC championships at Duke University wrestling event.
Second most exciting event of the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hell no. UFC, Alex Pereira fighting. It's the most exciting shit going on.
Alex Poatan Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. We have our UFC specialist in the house to break it down and give the importance of this.
Well, I don't know why Eddie Money pointed it to me. He's the one talking big and talking that Alex Pereira is just going to go out and knock this dude out in the first round. But the fact of the matter is that Alex Pereira still has not faced a grappler. And this guy, although he is a striker, he does have a Dagestani background. So Sean Strickland, striker. Israel Adesanya, striker. Khalil Roundtree, striker. Jamal Hill, striker. Yuri Prochazka, striker. And so I'm simply saying that if Magomed Ankalaev does not come out and at least test Alex Pereira's ability to defend takedown and defend at least some type of wrestling, then I think he's going to get knocked out. And I don't know what Eddie feels about that, but I feel that Magomed is not going to come out and just stand with him. He's going to come out, try to take him down, try to choke him out. And I do think that we see Alex Pereira hold up and not move on to that heavyweight division. I think he loses here. We get a second fight, and then we round this out, and Alex Pereira stays in the light heavyweight division. You got to say about that, Alex Pereira Dulag.
As a blind supporter of Alex Pereira and a Poatan stan, I think he knocked that ass out in round 2 to 3, and then he moves up and waits for the winner of John Jones Aspinall. That's what Dana White said. He said John Jones is supposed to fight in the summer, and Alex Pereira, if he wins this weekend, should get that fight of the winner.
I mean, you guys say this is the most exciting, but I mean, what's the fucking line on this?
They're even. They're pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em. Yeah, it's a pick 'em.
Do you see it as that, CJ? To me, I haven't seen anyone hang in.
Well, I know you left when I said it, but Alex Pereira hasn't been tested in his wrestling defense. Although Magomed is a striker, and we know how this works. If Magomed comes out and wrestles him, and Magomed is a striker, but he has that Dagestani background. He's from Dagestan. So we know he has some type of wrestling. And so if he comes out and tests his wrestling, I'm like, bro, we haven't seen Alex defend any type of wrestling. And we know how that story plays out every time. We expect the striker to come out and strike, and they get taken down, and it's a wrap. Every single time we see that story.
Well, let's not get it twisted. If you're from fucking Dagestan, you've been wrestling since you're fucking 2 years old.
Right.
They actually
Most
wrestled the way out of the room.
But
They
Magomed
stopped
has come out and said,
Yeah.
Magomed has come out and said, I'm not going to wrestle him. I'm going to stand with him.
That
We'll
would
see
be
if he holds
fucking
it to it and gives us a
stupid.
great main
It
event.
was so stupid. But I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to do it.
Well, you know, I guess I'll watch it. You know, I'm not the UFC expert, but is there anything else on that fucking card that
Justin Gaethje is
Ooh.
coming back for his first time since he got knocked out at the last second versus Max Holloway. So we got to see Justin Gaethje versus, guess what? A grappler. And I think Justin Gaethje loses also because I think because he was an amazing grappler. What do you say?
He's an underdog in the fight. He's like plus 120.
Yeah. So I think Justin Gaethje is going to get choked out. Same old story.
Justin Gaethje was at least a Division II wrestler.
Have you seen his UFC takedown defense? It's goofy.
It's not good.
I just saw, I watched UFC.
I was saying, if you don't have anything to do, at least just watch this main event. There'll be a lot.
Justin Gaethje's fighting.
You're
You
not
have to
getting
watch
me to
Justin
watch
Gaethje.
it. You ain't getting me to watch it.
Oh my god.
Rafa,
I can't do it.
It's
man.
weird. We can't
how
get.
do you go-
It's so weird. Like he'll watch fucking women's tennis if there's
Right.
fucking money on the line. It's so weird that he.
This
just
is so much
has-
more entertaining.
I don't. I don't get.
And you get
Rafa's-
great
Disney
odds.
guys.
this weekend.
like he bets on slaves running away from
100%.
their
100%.
and doesn't bet on UFC. Like he would bet on that.
Yeah, no, I can't. There's too many guys. There's too much shit to keep track of. And this
Just
and
focus on the
that.
main events.
Nah.
Ah,
It is
Oh,
weird.
Bro,
It is-
weirdo. That's
It's
weird.
one-
And the
it's
fact that
one
he's so
sport.
defiant,
It's one sport that I've never gotten into. Ever.
why? You still
Like,
have
I've-
not provided the reason why, though.
Because I watched a guy named Justin Houston go in there at plus 800 like 7 years ago and knock the fuck out of this dude.
See? Now we're getting to
And-
the root. Now we're
And
getting
it
to the
was
root.
like,
thing.
it was like, dude.
Now we're getting. He lost a big bet. He
Like,
lost
man.
a big fucking bet.
It
Well,
was
guess what?
like this
Rafa.
motherfucking plumber just walked in and fucking bats this dude. I can't do it.
Rafa,
I can't do it. And although boxing is shit, although boxing is trash, I would watch 1,000 times.
Hell no.
It's just my opinion.
Bruh.
I would watch because to me, listen, I'm old school, whatever the fuck you want to call it. People who love a UFC, they'll watch every single fight. For me, I don't do that in boxing either. Like oh no, did you see the fight? No.
That was a great fight last weekend, by the way.
Yeah,
I
Great fight.
I'm
Was a
never
great
doing
fight.
that. I'm never
Entertaining.
doing that. I'm
Entertaining
never
it
doing
is-
that.
was the first entertaining boxing fight I've seen in a very long time.
In a long time.
Yes,
The
yes.
tank fight, and I thought it was the
Yes.
right call too. The draw, I
Yes.
thought it was a great call.
Yes.
I was shocked. I was because I am a boxing hater.
Yes, I'm a boxing hater as well. I'm a boxing hater as well.
Did you see-
That
did you
sport
see-
has declined faster, worse than any other sport. Faster than
Zero
the NBA,
Cool
Mike.
with his straight hate. He said boxing is better than UFC. Grappling is gay. If they took it away, I would become a fan.
Zero cool, and little DSF 818 gives a shout out to Dick Dice.
He also said Bush concerts better than UFC.
So
Zero
I-
Cool
I
would love
I
kickboxing.
just
then.
I never can. To me, the build up to watch Canelo and fight somebody, and now kind of Canelo's kind of faded, but the build up that those fights had will always be bigger than UFC. I'm sorry.
Hell no.
As one, listen, statistically and money wise, one boxing
For
main
sure.
event, just
Well,
one,
They make
just
but
one.
that's not because that's because of contracts and how the UFC works. That's
That's fine. And the
It's not
UFC works.
applicative.
The UFC for me is like the minor league baseball, baby. There's too
Oh.
many shit. Too many
Oh,
teams.
this
many
motherfucker done
teams.
disrespected
Too
Dana
many-
White,
No.
Yes,
Listen.
you did.
Oh,
Yes, you
You
did.
done disrespected all
Yes,
the
you
best
did.
fighters in the world.
Yes, you did. On air, live.
Hold on. No. UFC's brand is great. Their business model is phenomenal. All the pussies that cry that they don't make enough money, shut the fuck up. Okay? You're lucky you're to be doing that. And you're doing that because you couldn't box. So I'm sorry. So it's just what it is. When you go back and you watch the lead up to De La Hoya and Trinidad and Sugar Ray Leonard and all of those icons, those matches were much bigger than fucking John Jones against DC. They were bigger than that.
Hearns.
It's insane. You don't understand it. You can't fathom it.
I do. No,
you cannot
100%.
fathom it because you don't have the fucking brain.
Floyd Mayweather. Hold on, bitch. Floyd Mayweather. Pacquiao. I watched Floyd Mayweather Pacquiao, and I remember that it was a shit fight. But that build up to that fight was like the shit was popping off. And I understand boxing. The only reason I'm not accepting it is because of boxing promotions and the way the UFC is structured. They work completely different. Like people can't pour all of that money into the UFC like the promoters can pour all of that money into boxing.
100%.
Like Dana is the promoter, sole promoter. Like,
well, hold on now. Breaking fucking news, because I saw it today, and if you guys didn't see it today, a billionaire Saudi is partnering up with Dana. And Dana is going to fix boxing with the Saudi.
100%.
And he's going to do exactly what you're talking about, Rafa. He's going to bring those. I mean, because shit.
They were mega fights. They were mega fights. By the way, real quick, Zero Cool was 100% right. Floyd and Manny was 5 years too late. I agree with him.
True.
Yes.
100,000%.
100%.
And Floyd and Canelo was too early.
Too early.
Yeah. Well, it was too early for Canelo, not too early for Floyd.
Yeah.
But it's just, for me, that's just always, I always grew up with boxing. You always went somewhere to watch the big fights, right? You always went, the fucking, Friday night, Saturday night. Who we getting? Fucking Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis. Like,
when is UFC?
It's switching. The generation is switching.
But it's not.
You have boxing. No. We have UFC now.
We have UFC.
Yeah. We had boxing that we paid
most
$60.
And most, I don't think Sugar Ray Leonard or any of those guys could have just went into the UFC and just balled the fuck out.
It's not the same fucking thing.
Listen
to this. Hold the fuck on. It is not the same fucking
So how can we apply that for UFC fighters to boxing, but not boxing to UFC fighters?
If
you did that earlier, you said when you couldn't box.
It's not the same thing. It's a different sport.
So
that sport was created because these guys couldn't box. That's exactly what it is. It's a sport that came after boxing. Boxing has been around forever.
And all boxers can't do MMA.
They didn't need to. They had boxing. That's
a bad argument. I'm sorry.
UFC came 25 years ago. Boxing has been around for 100.
How crazy.
Way more
complex. That's been around for a very long time.
Listen, Eddie Money and CJ.
The UFC has it.
Try to wrap your shit around this, okay? Oscar De La Hoya, Cesar Chavez. It was so humongous. My dad bought tickets to the Los Angeles the Inglewood Forum to watch it on the big screen, and it was filled to the rim. I remember trying to go to the bathroom and 1 million Mexicans pissing in the stairs. It was so full. I'll never forget. That's how huge. Imagine going to a arena sold out, packed to watch something on the big screen.
Okay, and can I cut you off right there?
I'll go to the Cosm.
Now, hold on.
The Cosm.
Here's what I'd say. Boxing is much less limited also, and this is just a byproduct of the sports, but boxing is much less limited than the UFC. Imagine all of the great matchups that we never will get. Khabib Conor again, Dustin Poirier Conor again, Mighty Mouse and the current strawweight. Like, there's so many of these matchups that we're never, Khabib and Max Holloway. Like, there's so many of these matchups that we never are going to get because of the restrictions that the UFC applies. Again, it's just the different sports. But I mean, if we get those matches, we don't know what the crowd size is like. We saw
Then
with
you're never getting it ever. You cannot agree to it. The numbers show you every UFC event can never live up to any of the numbers.
I said that earlier. Yes, because of the promotion, the way the sports are set up.
Well, that's why
UFC's spot is with got to deal with ESPN. Like
I'm just saying, the way that promoters can put money into the actual match, it can't be put money into the same way. Like it's just not possible.
It's not.
It's controlled by one person
with a ton of money.
Yeah, not as much money as these fucking Arabs.
Dude, the Arabs are now involved in boxing. I'm talking Canelo's number. I'm talking about what Eddie's talking about is going
to the UFC wasn't around it, like you said.
30 fucking years ago. It doesn't. It's 30 years. The numbers they did 30 years ago, the UFC still doesn't have them today.
Yes, I'm saying because of the way the sports is set up, like you cannot pour all of that money into a UFC match as a promoter because there's one promoter.
I'm almost sure that if Crawford and Canelo fought, if Crawford and Canelo fight, I guarantee you they do bigger numbers than any UFC fight this year.
Yes, and because there's going to be so many other fucking promoters that pour money into that fucking match, 100%.
But UFC's bigger. How could they not have more promoters if UFC's so big?
Because there's only one promoter. His name is Dana White.
Well, but it's huge. It's huge.
It's one.
It's huge.
Uno.
It's huge.
Uno.
What do you mean?
A billionaire. You're acting like Dana White's poor. He's a fucking billionaire.
Promoters with an S, plural, are also billionaires.
Zero Cool is 100% right. Dana White can promote UFC more, but he wants the short-term profits. That's true.
I don't know if he can promote it as much as boxing.
What do you mean?
He can, but he doesn't want to. Like you said, he wants the profits. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not disagreeing with that. I just don't know if he has, in his single capacity, to put as much money into boxing as these Arabs are. I don't think he can.
Dude, you're talking, but the thing is, you're talking about the Arabs now. That wasn't the case 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now.
That wasn't the case 30 years ago. I'm talking about fights 30 years ago.
Yes, the UFC wasn't around 30 fucking years ago.
Yes, and they were still drawing the huge crowd.
It's a whole different distance you're covering. Like, what are you talking about?
I think if you give the UFC 10 years, it will outshine boxing.
Like, yeah, like you're
no, it outshines
5 to 10 years.
It outshines it already. Outshines it already. The problem is that they don't get everyone. That is the thing with UFC. The UFC doesn't get the fucking Mexican that's 50 years old. They don't get that. They don't get that audience. I'm sorry.
Dangerous. Like,
no. The fact that Rafa is not interested in UFC, who watches tennis, will watch a women's will watch Woodruff, Saint State, Eastern Connecticut, Middle, Southern, Central Tennessee. The fact that Rafa won't watch that is actually proof that what he's saying
is an anecdote. It's not proof. It's an
completely
anecdote.
True.
There's more people like me.
Proof.
Listen, there's more people like me than there are like you.
We are
20-year age gap.
Fucking apart. So there's a big difference.
Listen, when you look at UFC, CJ, you're not understanding.
20 years old, you're not understanding.
You're not understanding. The UFC numbers for their pay-per-views never get to the number of boxing pay-per-views.
No, that's not what you just said.
Because people like me, CJ, people like me, you don't appeal. You don't appeal to us.
Or say the first,
CJ, UFC doesn't appeal to my age group. It doesn't appeal to people. It doesn't appeal.
The second thing it said was some other bullshit.
That's the same thing, CJ. That's the same thing.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
You said there are more people like me than there are like you. And
yes, there are. And people like me.
Hold on. You said there are more people like me than there are you. And then you said there are more people, or the UFC doesn't appeal to my age group. It's not the same fucking thing.
That's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. How is that not the same thing? People like me don't appeal. The UFC doesn't appeal to us. My age fucking group. It's the same fucking thing. 50-year-old Mexican men who have been watching boxing since they were 10 are not watching the UFC. They're not paying for the pay-per-views.
And a lot of people my age are.
Not enough. Not enough.
To.
Not enough, which is
Yeah,
why boxing main events.
And you're also not talking about the people that are legally streamed. You're also not talking about the people that are online. They're also not getting those numbers as well, which are in the millions.
No, they do that for
which you couldn't do 30 years ago, by the way.
Exactly, which makes boxing even more impressive 30 years ago than UFC today.
Does it make it more impressive, or does it mean we broke? Like you can.
No, it makes it more impressive. It makes it more impressiing that Eddie and his dad went to the Great Western Forum to watch two fucking Mexicans fight. And they were pissing on because there weren't enough fucking toilets.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what makes it more impressive. The fact that they had fights outside of Caesar's Palace where guys parachuted in and the place was they had to have it outside because they had so many fucking people watching this thing. That's just there to watch it.
Yes.
We're talking about
50, doesn't do outside fights.
Because they don't have the crowd to do it.
Oh,
because that's not the fucking. That's such a dumb argument. That's not the setup of the event.
I think the UFC could sell it.
Eddie, why was that fight outside?
Easily, they were trying to. Ilia Topuria was trying.
You're right.
Before first of all, they're making plans to go to Spain for Ilia Topuria to sell out an $80,000 soccer field. Like he can easily do it. It's just the market. Like
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Because boxing's done it. Been there, done that.
Yes,
easily.
Boxing has been around as an organization much longer.
Yes, and I'm not saying
if you give the UFC 20 more years, then you will see where they are.
We can assume that in 20 years, yeah, fine. But that's not what we're saying. The product is better. The UFC product is by far better. But I don't watch it, and people my age, people like me that prefer to watch a main event boxing fight, will prefer to watch that over UFC. That's all. Because the star in UFC,
exact opposite. Nobody's watching boxing in my age.
Yes, of course not. Because the intellect that you need to have to watch boxing,
the intellect, yes, the intellect.
It's
much harder to understand what a fucking Kimura is than to understand what a fucking right hook is. Really ridiculous.
All right. Okay. All right.
It's called the sweet science for a reason.
This comment right here proves it. Where do you say it? Zero cool. Grappling is gay. Most people can't understand grappling, so that's why.
I want to see people do this because I don't understand what a fucking single leg fucking takedown is.
The thing with UFC, this is the thing with UFC, that with boxing, they build the champion up, right? And the buildup is ridiculously huge. Mayweather, they fucking drill him into
Conor McGregor, Alex Pereira.
They didn't. I'm sorry, it's not the same because they didn't give you. They didn't give you the same. CJ, they didn't give you the same. They didn't. CJ,
let him talk.
CJ, listen. You don't understand. You're all those guys that you just named. None of them do the numbers that Mayweather and Canelo can do. You know why? Because the boxing.
They're not single. Because they're under organization.
Because boxing hammers their champion and they give you the lead up. So when the fight comes, you have 100+ million people. The UFC doesn't do that, which is hard for people to then, like me, to relate to it because I don't get to see Jon Jones every 3 months. I don't get to see Jon Jones building up on HBO and Cinema or Showtime, building him up to the fight. I don't get to see that with UFC. And with boxing, you do. So at the end of the day, whether boxing sucks
champion is boxing building up.
Right now, it's just Canelo. Right now, it's just Canelo. That's it.
Okay,
that's
great.
all. That's all they need. Do you know why? Because at the end of the day, Canelo will sell more. Canelo will sell more pay-per-views. They will sell more pay-per-views than the UFC. I'm telling you, it's a fact.
Canelo.
Yes, because they made Canelo.
Not boxing.
Made Canelo. Boxing.
Canelo is an international name, like a brand in and of itself.
Made by boxing. Made by what? What? They threw him in the ring as a baby.
Boxing is the sport that made him, but Canelo has. I would say Canelo has done more for the sport of boxing.
What? You listen. This topic right here, my friend. You get a 0. Canelo was thrown into the ring as a baby, basically, against the best fighter of his era. Okay?
Right now, Canelo is doing much more for the sport of boxing.
Because he got to fight Mayweather. That's why.
Interesting.
Because he took a fight against the guy who, although at the end of his career, was the best fighter for the last whatever.
What is boxing right now without Canelo?
It's because they haven't built the next guy. That's the thing. And when they
just
build
said
the
build
next
up
guy,
champions.
then but Canelo's Mexican. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
and in
so
boxing,
the
whether
goalpost
you want to
moves
believe it or not, Canelo, Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, Felix Trinidad, all of those were icons, superstars.
So can I ask you a question then? Because I wasn't
Huge.
around in the 80s and the 90s. In the 80s and the 90s, were there not multiple guys like? Not necessarily everybody can't be champion, but was there not like a bunch of guys at that time?
There were a ton of guys.
So I'm saying you just said that they're building up their champions, but Canelo is the one and only entity in boxing right now that I can name off the top of my head.
They've done it over years because UFC is a better product. That's
Tank
not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But technically, UFC is a better product. There's no doubt about it. It's a better product. There is no doubt. But at the end of the day, when Canelo's fighting and you could put him up one night against fucking John Jones and whoever the fuck you want, Canelo's going to sell more pay-per-views than any UFC matchup, period. Conor McGregor
and more identifiable
Khabib,
international
whoever the fuck
name
you
than
want.
John Jones is.
Dude, before he was this big, you could have taken him 5 years ago. Any boxing super match will always out.
Did Canelo and John Jones not start their career around the same time, or was Canelo a little older?
No, Canelo had already started. When John Jones started to shine, Canelo was already rolling.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I would say at the point, if you take Canelo and John Jones at any point in their careers, Canelo as a single entity is always a better name than John Jones is as a person. Like, but if you take other people, like if you take, Floyd, yes. But would you put Floyd up to, like, you can match him with Conor McGregor as far as name identity?
As what?
They fought each other.
As box office sales? Are you fucking out of your mind? It doesn't matter. They fought each other in a fucking bullshit match. The numbers don't lie. Who has produced more money, more pay-per-view
was a big enough name for Floyd to fight him.
It wasn't a real fight. If you thought that was a real fight, then you're a lunatic. It's not. It wasn't a real fight. It wasn't a real fight. Number one. Number two, take Floyd and any box office Floyd has ever been in for the last 12 fights that he had. No UFC matchup. None. 100%. Not one can match that.
Mayweather.
Take Oscar De La Hoya's pay-per-view buys. What UFC fight can match that? Because he was built like that. Oscar was built off of fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, a Mexican fucking legend. That is above what you understand. You don't understand that. You don't understand that.
I'm understanding it.
Why do the biggest stars in UFC go into boxing to make their money?
It's like we've been having this conversation for the past 45 minutes because promoters can pour multiple promoters.
The biggest and best,
all of that money into a single boxing match. Dana White, because of the things that this guy has said and multiple things that we've said, because he likes short-term gains and all of that good stuff. He doesn't put all of that money, and I don't even think if he wanted to, he could match them.
Bob Arum, Don King. You can't name a boxing promoter now. Oscar De La Hoya now. The biggest, baddest promoter on this planet Earth is named Dana White.
And
you keep on saying, but not the one that's pouring the most money into a promotion.
You're talking about Saudi money right now. That's what you're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Boxing and UFC right now. You guys are talking about the course of history. Yes, it's not arguable. The UFC's younger. They pour money. I'm sorry, they pour that money because they know they can still profit and pay box. Yeah, like you can't pay UFC fighters. Like it's just not happening. Dana is not paying those guys. You cannot pour all of that money into UFC. It's not going to happen
because they don't make it. That's the thing. The pay-per-view buys aren't there. They're not there to sit ringside at a boxing match. We're talking about $40,000 or $50,000. I can sit ringside at UFC for $8,000. That's the difference. Yes. Because boxing does a better job of building up their main fight. At the end of the day, one fight is all boxing needs. One. Dana needs fucking 12 UFC 314, 315 throughout the fucking year. They need that. Boxing needs one super fight, one time, 1 year. That's it. That's why it appeals more, and they get more buys. That's why it's more appealing to me.
That's
I call
anecdotal. Everything you just said was great. And then you said that's why it appeals to me. That's anecdotal. Like, that is not a fucking a group fucking, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. You saying that it doesn't
but
appeal
it's a proof. It's literally proof in the
for
pay-per-view buys.
you.
Not for me. In the pay-per-view buys, it proves it to you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, but it proves
you're
it to you.
saying something that's not an unarguable fact. They make more money than this. But the point is, you're saying that it doesn't appeal to you. And I'm simply saying it's not trying to. Dana's not trying to appeal to you. He's trying to appeal to people like me and Eddie Money. That's the whole fucking
thing. People like you and Eddie Money who can't afford to go to a fight. That's who.
Yes.
That's who. Nobody's ever
what's the
building.
point?
No. Nobody's ever building a business to appeal to people who can't spend money. I'm sorry, nobody does that.
If you look at any of Dana White's marketing, he's not trying to appeal to Rafa. I'm sorry, it's not. You can't get that conclusion from the marketing, like in any way. Not social media marketing, not email marketing.
Let me ask you something. Do you get emails from UFC are on location? Do you get emails to buy packages to UFC for $10,000 to go see a fight?
So
they're appealing to a person.
I'm talking about going to the Apex event. I'm talking about going to the pay-per-view cards. I'm talking about filling seats, butts in seats.
Listen, whether you want to believe it or not, no business appeals to a person who cannot spend money. I'm sorry. So I'm not appealing. I'm not building a business to appeal to a 16-year-old kid or a fucking 22-year-old kid. That's not a business that you're appealing to. So you can believe. You can believe.
I don't believe he's appealing to 16-year-olds. Don't say that.
Or 22-year-olds, because you're basically the same shit. So it's basically the same thing. Nobody's.
I pay my own bills.
We just went to a UFC event, Rafa.
You're not about to make me a child, buddy. I pay my own bills.
Nobody's building a business to appeal to people who can't spend money. I'm sorry. You want to appeal to people that actually buy pay-per-views and pay $100 for a pay-per-view? You guys are not it.
It's actually ridiculous. To say that Dana White is not trying to appeal to my age group is actually ridiculous.
You have a business. You should appeal to everyone.
That's what you
appeal to everyone. What do you mean? That's what I think. You build a business and you don't want to appeal to everyone?
Okay.
Are you serious?
We're going in circles.
We're going to get nowhere.
Are you kidding? Oh my God! Listen, Malbon, Eddie Malbon appeals to everyone, right?
Yes.
They appeal to everyone, right?
Yes.
They appeal to everyone, right?
Filipinos.
So you build a business to appeal to everyone. So don't tell me that Dana
White is appealing to fucking baby boomers. Yes, baby boomers, come and watch people beat the shit out of it. Like, makes no sense.
Yes, baby boomers, come and buy my packages of $8,000 and $10,000 to take a picture with a champion. That's what I want. Yes, thank you. That's what I want. I don't want a guy who's gonna go and watch one fight every 5 fucking years.
What is point? What point is Zero Cool making?
Net worth, I don't know, but he just proved that UFC is worth way more than all those. Either way, we've been going in circles
exactly
for
what he's saying. What he's saying is, because you keep saying that Dana White doesn't have the money to put up the promoting, and he's proving to you, because I have to literally read and so dissect it for you.
Oh my gosh, those are I'm talking about into the fucking fighters, into the promotion. Dana White is not pouring as much money as these Arabs.
Why?
He can, but he doesn't.
Ready? I agree with you. Why not? This is cheap. I agree with that point. I agree with all of that. The whole point of this argument started to say that Rafa was saying, because it doesn't appeal to me. And I'm saying, well, yeah, I don't think Dana's number one appeal is to 40-year-olds. I personally, I don't think that.
How could you think that? How could you think that? I don't understand how you think that. How could you not? I imagine
based on what I see in marketing, I just don't think maybe I don't see the $10,000 packages, but I'm getting emails from UFC about Apex fights that is money that I can afford because I don't live in Vegas. The Apex fights that I'm getting every single weekend, yes, I'm getting those emails, and it's absolutely.
Imagine building a brand worth $11 billion and you only want to appeal to 22-year-old kids.
That's not what the fuck I said.
Oh no! Wait, I don't want to appeal to 40 and 50 and 60.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
You said Dana White's product. You said Dana White.
You said That's not what I said.
Did you not say his brand doesn't appeal to me? That's not his goal. It's to not appeal to me.
Gosh,
did he say that or not? Did he say that? Yes or no?
I must be fucking speaking Wimbiaka Batuka or fucking Ebonics. I need to speak Cuban fucking Spanish.
I thought that's what you said.
To quote me correctly.
I need another drink.
Okay.
Eddie, did he
We've
not
been
say
going in
that?
circles
I
for the
thought that's
past
what he
20
said.
minutes.
Don't go to Eddie. I don't got time for Eddie. Me and you, Roger. This between me and you. Don't go to Eddie for quotes.
Oh, well, Henley, get out of here. Yeah, oh, he
Listen.
done pissed me off. Oh,
Hey,
he said
listen.
no sporting
Listen.
event is bigger than the Tribal
No,
Chief
we're
and The
not
Rock
doing
at
that.
Listen,
We're not
WrestleMania.
doing
Eddie,
Boxing
Eddie,
got nothing on the
you have to,
WWE.
Eddie, if you have to leave.
I
we
can
can
go. You
settle
guys
this.
can keep going.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't keep going.
No,
Oh,
because
man.
somehow the UFC doesn't appeal to people my age.
That's not what I said. Okay.
What?
Stay
Wait,
young.
hold on,
Stay
CJ.
young.
Hold on.
Stay
Hold
young.
on. Hold on. Eddie, what? Don't say nothing, CJ. Eddie, what did he say?
You
Eddie, what did he
can't
say?
go to Eddie. With all due respect, Eddie, I love you. Eddie doesn't
Eddie,
remember the
did he-
names of quarterbacks
No.
in draft.
Eddie, what did he say, Ed?
Eddie
No.
can't quote the quarterback from
No,
last
no.
week. You
Listen,
expect him to quote
CJ,
me?
you don't let anyone talk. You said that Dana White
on here
is
for half
not
the
a
time.
try to appeal to our a spectrum or age group. That's what you said, and
That's
it makes
what
no
he said.
sense.
That's
If
what
they
I
have
said.
all the
I've been on
money,
Eddie Money, what did he say? Hold on. Eddie
If-
Money, what did he say?
He said that the people that he targets are not your generation.
That's what's what?
No. So, like you said earlier, mind you, I've been on here for half the time, so I'm going to speak now. If that's okay with Eddie. So I've been on. So what I said was, if you're Dana White and you're targeting people, if we're ranking people that he's targeting, sure. If you're talking about money, but I'm talking about as far as advertising and marketing, getting people eyes to his events, eyes on his page, eyes on. If you're talking about social media marketing. Everything. I think that the number one people that he's targeting is Generation Z. I personally think that when you look at his partnership with Prize Picks, the way he deals with the celebrities and the influencers, I personally think that Dana White tries to appeal to my generation. And you see it through who's in his comments, who's interacting with the fucking UFC and the influencers. It's not me. You're not watching that, Rafa, on social media. You're not Eddie might. But I'm just saying, I just think his marketing and social media, I think it's targeted towards people like in my generation and my age group. I think if you're going next, you next, but I don't think that is the number one source. I'm sorry. That is my personal opinion based off of what I've seen.
I mean, we went to UFC event. We saw most people our age. We didn't really see people like 40, 50 there.
Your age. I did not see a lot of people your age. It was people James age down.
Okay, but where did you guys enter the arena, and where did you guys sit that you didn't see motherfuckers my age?
He has a point. He has a point.
You're
getting down to the
seats, though.
But that's not most of the stadium. If you're getting down to the closer, obviously to the floor, there's nobody our age. But if you're talking about the rest of where we were able to walk and see, I didn't see most people. I would say between 50 and 65% were our age.
The thing is, when you look at the end of the day, the pay-per-view buys, which is the most important thing, if they would appeal more to people our age, you would have more pay-per-view buys. But they don't. That's what I'm saying. That's the main thing. If you appeal to me more, if you appeal to us more, you'd have more pay-per-view buys, which is why boxing, for me, I'd rather watch a boxing event over UFC. That's my take. And that's why I can't grow to like it.
I think it boils down to most people just wanting to see something simple as boxing and not something as complex as mixed martial arts and having to know several sports in one to learn how someone won or lost a round.
That's it.
And I think it's too many guys. That's
a great point, Eddie. And I'll break it down even further. We all know the Hispanic or Latino race, it's driven combat sports, right? And now you have Dagestan. But people in Dagestan only fight. They don't watch that shit because they have fucking goats and no TVs.
They got farms to take.
But I will break it down like this.
Of course.
Your Tío Hilario, your Tío Cesar, your Tío Jose will watch one of the greatest champions that we know, CJ, GSP, right? And no question, he's a GOAT. And then all of his fights were the most boring as shit. He'd take down a dude and dominate. And your Tío fucking Julio's going, ¿Cómo que these homos laying on each other? And that's the issue. And if you see the big fights, that's why Conor was such a huge. That's why Gaethje and the strikers, and that's the beauty of Dana White, is that he doesn't care if you win, because that's how it used to be. He cares if you entertain. He wants to see the guys point in the middle of the ring and throw down chigazos. And what is that? It's boxing.
And I'm not saying the product is good either, because the boxing is not good. I agree that UFC is superior as a product. That's no doubt about it. So don't get it twisted.
I would actually make the argument. I agree with everything Eddie said except the last part. It's not boxing. It's actually kickboxing. I would say it's kickboxing. When you mix in the kicking and the Alex Pereira, that style.
And you're talking to a dude who loves a great takedown. You know?
Right. Yeah, no, yeah. So
I get the takedowns.
I can get down with that. I don't give a fuck. You can post this bitch. I'm not backing down from my number one target scores.
We can't post this.
I don't give a fuck.
Unless you're gonna edit for 6 hours.
And use a lot of bleep. A lot.
And lower the tone for like 5 meters down.
Yeah. For sure. But by the way, Will Hanley, shout out to the WWF. Listen.
Okay.
Real quick. I know you guys hate it.
Yes.
I know you guys hate it.
Let's talk about it.
I don't watch it. I haven't watched it in years. But for me, it will always be the WWF. I know they had to change the names because of whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever the fuck it was. But dude, like this whole saga of this guy's a great and this is the best wrestling moment of all time or whatever the fuck. Listen, I know you guys are fucking 25, 26 years old, but the greatest wrestling moment of all time, and Vince McMahon will fucking testify to this, was fucking Hulk Hogan body slamming fucking Andre the Giant in fucking WrestleMania 3. Eddie, is it not? Am I crazy?
No. It's not even fucking close. But Rafa and Will, listen, I have been forced to now watch my son, who is a Division I wrestler, and my other son,
real wrestling.
He Olympic style, missed the Olympics by one match, is enthralled and is taken. And my son, who coaches St. John Bosco Wrestling, I gotta watch Monday Night Raw. Like,
man,
I watch it. I watch it because I have to. I watch it. This whole thing with, I'm telling you, Big John and Jacob and Zach, they need to get their own podcast. This shit had 500 million views. This whole thing of John Cena going, I watch it and I'm looking at it and it looks horrible to me. It looks horrible. I'm sorry.
Looks terrible.
So here's my WWE.
Why do you guys hate it so much?
Yes, here's my WWE. I have an origin.
I never watched it.
Clip this.
I have an origin story.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
I was watching, I don't know which match it was, but my favorite wrestler was The Undertaker. My favorite wrestler was The Undertaker. And it was a match with The Undertaker. And it wasn't the other, it was these two other wrestlers, and one guy got on the shoulders of another. And the camera guy was really close. And I heard the wrestler on the bottom say, "Are you ready?" And the wrestler on the top said, "Yeah." And then they did it. And from that point on,
was it sex?
I was never going to watch another fucking WWE match for the rest of my life. It's disgraceful. That shit is fake, scripted. Don't put it on my TV. Don't talk about it in the bleach.
By the way, CJ, I see that moment almost every fucking Monday.
It's embarrassing.
Like the guys don't want to take punishment. And I told Jacob this, and he agreed. Even though we all know it's fake. And you've seen the movies. We know it's fake, but we know it's taxing on the body. Like when I see guys, I'll say I saw a chick get a kick to a face. And I'm like, there's no way that felt good. Like that fucking hurt. But that's what we used to see back then. Guys took punishment, and the fakeness, because maybe they had to do it more often. It's really bad. But I have to watch it because everyone does. It's like The Sopranos. It's like The Sopranos. We know it's fake, but the drama and the excitement, like I gotta be at the water cooler and know that
I'm
fucking
sorry.
John Cena went
Eddie.
heel. He
Eddie.
went heel. I'm like, what's heel?
I
don't even
never
know what that
watched-
fucking
I
is.
don't get the same when I watch Jon Snow in The King of the North in Game of Thrones. I do not get the same feeling when I watch John Cena do some fake ass shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It
Listen,
don't get
and
the
no
same.
discredit to, by the way, and no discredit to any of those guys because they're athletic
Right.
as fuck.
Yes,
I mean,
Yes.
that is
They work
yes.
incredibly
their
hard.
athleticism.
Yes.
Oh, dude, their athleticism, their
Yes.
training is phenomenal.
Yes.
But dude, like some years ago, I watched again, bro, and it was just so bad.
It's bad
Like,
every week.
It was bad. It was bad acting. And I know, dude, I know,
Yes.
listen, I know. I grew up in a different time. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, fucking
Jimmy
Fly,
Fly
Manhart,
Snooker.
Jimmy Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, all those
Oh.
dudes, right? It was like, it was different. It was, when we were kids, and I had a baby at 18 years old. I didn't watch ever again. So, like, I can probably honestly tell you that I never watched John Cena wrestle because I was already done at that time.
By the way, so I grew up, I mean, that's my heyday. Avenue 30, my buddy Ozzy got me in a camel clutch. My fucking back hurt for a fucking month. Put someone in a figure 4.
Try and
Figure
do
4's
this.
fucking hurt. Like
A fucking perfect plex. I can only do that shit when I was like 8 years old, and I grabbed my brother who was about 2, and you can do it. But other than that, no, they're great athletes, but the product is just bad. But I just what bothers me about the wrestling thing is that these guys, like when you're reading these text messages, and it was 106 missed texts.
oh
I
my
caught
god.
like just dude,
I
read
played
maybe,
basketball for 2 hours straight, came back to my
Bro.
phone. These fuckers were still
Yes.
talking about it.
dude, I
Yes.
read maybe the last 8 or 9 messages when Jacob says, "Oh, this is the greatest moment," and like the way they're talking about these guys is like if they're actual, like if they've accomplished that.
Yes.
And listen, they accomplished, and listen, they can, this guy's the tribal chief and the fucking this and that. They accomplished getting into the card or the lineup or the
Yeah.
rotation or whatever the fuck they call it because they're athletes and they have incredible athletic ability. Fine. But them becoming these superstars, those are created by the writers of the show. Those are created by the writers who put the show together, who then create you to be a champion. So you can't, this guy, he's so this and that. No, he was built. They built that.
Well,
They built that. He didn't.
Yeah, okay, but
He
Rafa,
didn't actually go out there and win a fucking game. He didn't
So-
actually go out there and win a fight. He didn't
how
actually do it.
how you are built as a champion. And what's the movie, the fucking depressing movie I was depressed for fucking 4 fucking
The Von Erich-
The one with
Von
the
Erich
Zac
movie.
Efron.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are created to be a champion if you, like, CM Punk came out, grabbed the microphone, and went off. That's a talent to be able to hype up the crowd and get a microphone and riff like we do, like me and you. That's a fucking talent, and that is how you create a personality. That's why The Rock is a fucking superstar. That's why Hulk Hogan. Oh yes, bro. That's why Randy Macho Man. If you don't have that gifted bag, I mean, think about Ultimate Warrior. Probably maybe physically gifted, but really couldn't give that show.
Right. He
and-
couldn't give that show at that time. He could.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't have. He had the athletic ability, but he didn't have
Yes.
the entertainment part of it.
Yes, and
He-
that's why
the
Ric Flair
entertainer- Yes,
is probably the best wrestler of all time because he gave you that, and that's what, like, Jey Uso, who everyone loves. His best attribute is his walkout sound and everyone going yeet, 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 and like it's fun. But then his wrestling sucks balls. Hopefully they're not watching this. They're gonna go crazy.
Start a revolt in the group chat. You see these,
But it's
motherfuckers
true.
talking about it?
But it's true.
Yeah, it's
just-
true. And
I-
that's what bothers me about it. Like, this fucking guy, like, dude, he was built to be that.
I remember.
Yeah.
I just remember, and this is, I guess, the only thing in my life that I think old school. I can get down with the old school. is the old school WWE, the videos, the video games, the commercials, the hype videos.
They were better.
Way better.
They were way better.
What the fuck is this? I don't get any hype from anybody now. Back then, I was ready to watch WWE.
There's
a
reason
managers and shit, Eddie, or no?
They do, but there's a reason the managers are from 20 years ago. There's a reason why fucking John Cena looks like he's been retired for 20 years and is still a big star. There's a reason why they have to bring The Rock back because he can get the crowd going.
The other day. That's what I said the other day.
Yeah,
they keep recycling these old dudes.
There's no new stars. There's no new stars. There's a reason why every WrestleMania we waited for The Undertaker to come out. They don't. It's they don't big. Have that. I don't get it, Rafa. I swear to God, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's why I don't
like. It's bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah, well, it's bigger than it's ever been because everything's now bigger than it's ever been because of social media. But when you go back, like, dude, when you go back and you watch those buildups to the Survivor Series where they team up fucking 4 random dudes, right, against another 4 guys, like the shit talking that was like the shit talking back then at the promos. The promos back then were just felt like they just felt funner.
It was real. It was
CM Punk is like 53 years old. They're closing up in his fucking eyes. There's wrinkles everywhere. It's like, bro, let someone else. But there's no one. There's no one else.
Every time I go on the TV, I'm just seeing a bunch of old dudes, wrinkles and old muscles.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy.
That's why when I see these guys talking about it, I'm like, dude, go back and watch like 1992 Survivor Series or something and just see the build up to the promo to that shit. Like, it was just different. And, it could be that I'm stuck in that old age, but they keep recycling. They keep recycling old dudes. They keep recycling old dudes. Yeah. And it's like, no other sports, entertainment, whatever. Nobody keeps recycling fucking old guys.
Yeah.
These guys still need to recycle old dudes.
And now Hulk Hogan goes places and gets booed. So.
Oh well, that's because
he has his own beer now.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. But awesome. I think that's it, fellas. Right?
I think that's it. Listen, I could do another 2 hours because I enjoy this shit. And is anyone? Oh, there's still 3 people watching on, which is fucking crazy.
Oh, Zero Cool said, Zero Cool. We touched on the NBA early and often for sure. Yeah. So we went on earlier.
Zero Cool, send us your address. I'll send you a shirt or something because you're down for your shit. Will, I'm shipping out your order tomorrow. Excited about that. That's pretty fucking badass by you. I look forward to Wednesdays, guys.
Question for Will, if you don't mind me asking, Eddie.
If Will's still there.
If you are still here, we gotta give some credit to Will because our website is not up anywhere. It is not up so he had to do some credible digging to even get to the place and then dig even more to buy it off of there.
It's actually on my license plate. I'm kind of scared. Will might be following me somewhere because our website's on my license plate.
Hey,
you go ahead.
Real quick. The Chargers just released Joey Bosa.
Wow. He's going to San Francisco. He's gonna team up with his brother. He's gonna team up with his brother. This is the next 2 weeks.
Pro Bowler Joey Bosa, by the way. Wow.
The next 2 weeks in the NFL are gonna be wild. Free agency starting. It's gonna be fucking wild. Where do you see Sam Darnold?
If you guys have time, just stop me if you guys don't. But any big predictions in the next 2 weeks? Any wild, big predictions out there? Predictions you guys got for the next 2 weeks in the NFL?
Eddie?
Man. I don't know if this is a big prediction, but Sam Darnold's they re-signed him. I think that's huge. I think they re-signed him in Minnesota. I think it makes no sense. That to me is a big prediction. I think Myles Garrett goes to Philly, which I don't know how they work it. I don't know how they do it.
It's crazy.
I think he means business when he wants to play in the playoffs. And if I'm a star in the NFL and I want to guarantee myself to play at the highest level and get to a championship, even a conference, I go to Philly.
I'm going to
Other
give you
than that-
a wild one. A wild one. Wild. The Raiders sign Aaron Rodgers and trade for fucking DK Metcalf and still draft Shador. And
Whoa!
still draft Shador.
Yeah.
Dion wants that kid to sit a year.
He does. I've said that for a year and a half. Oh man, Aaron Rodgers in Vegas. Oh, I begged for it last year, and
2
now
years ago you begged for it. 2 years ago.
and I think it's gonna happen, Rafa. I really do.
2 years
Really?
too late. 2 years
I do
too
think it's
late.
gonna happen. I put it in the group text today. I said this is definitely something that's gonna happen. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming to fucking Vegas. I really
That'll
think
be
it's gonna
fun.
happen.
That would be fun. I would like to see that.
Zero Cool says Rodgers to the Cowgirls and Dak on the block. Listen, if Dak's on the block, the Raiders are calling.
Oh, 100% Zero Cool. 100%. I'll take Dak.
How about real quick before we get out of here, Justin Fields to the Raiders.
Okay, we didn't mention this. Justin Fields is right now a leading candidate to be the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh.
If they re-sign him.
Well, that's the thing. There's more of a percentage of a chance that the Steelers re-sign Fields than Wilson. Now, and then where does Wilson go?
He's the Giants, maybe.
Cleveland?
I like Fields. Zero Cool says I like Fields. I like Fields too. I'm advocating for Fields to the Raiders for
I
2
would
years.
love-
I
I-
don't like the Raiders.
I would like that. I like that a lot.
But I think it's going to happen in Pittsburgh. I think Fields is their starting quarterback next year.
You get Fields, you get that running quarterback style you've always wanted.
And you're going to get him for 15 to 18 million a year.
And you have Chip Kelly who can coach a quarterback of that style.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, but on that note, I think we get out of here, yeah?
I think
Yeah,
we're
we
at
get out of here. UFC doesn't target age groups older than me. What other recaps we got?
Shador, you need to cover both of our Shador takes.
Yeah, Shador, I believe, has the mental makeup to be a great quarterback. Although he's getting hate. He's getting major hate. And then
I want you to send my Shador rant directly to Shiloh and Shador and Deion Sanders Jr. Send it to them directly. Tag them in the post, please.
So they can block us.
They're not going to block shit. My take
no.
on Shador is 100% is spot on. And I didn't lie about anything. And I was honest as fuck. And I strongly believe that he believes that about himself. It was giving him all the credit. And I don't think he would.
It was great, Rafa. It was great, and that's where I was kind of leading you towards. Like that's what I was trying to say. But the media loves to hate on arrogant, confident black men.
This is a factual statement. Zero Cool.
Yeah, they want
Big
people
Ten
off the block who ain't got no money and struggling and is just gonna make bad decisions.
Yep, I love it.
Shout out to USC women's basketball. Big
Oh
Ten
my God.
champ, baby.
Is Zero cool? I'm starting to think. Oh my God, it's starting to make sense. If Zero Cool is this guy, he follows with women's freaking basketball.
It's the time of the year. It's a time of the year that I usually start my
Okay,
women's basketball.
so they're saying, what's her name? Juju
Watkins.
They're saying she's the best basketball player in all of women's basketball, including WNBA. They're saying she is the truth. She is the chosen one.
She can't even touch Caitlin Clark on any day of the week.
I'm telling you, they're saying she's the one.
On any planet in the solar system, in any galaxy in this universe. She could not touch Caitlin Clark.
I agree with CJ. Only because she's white.
Oh,
all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, y'all.
Hey, are we golfing tomorrow? Oh, end the show. I'll talk to you about that afterwards. Love you guys.